That's it.
Welcome to Thunder Valley, soon to be under the lights on a Saturday night. Stop number 24 on the NASCAR Nextel Cup Tour, the Sharpie 500 at the High Bank Half Mile of Bristol Motor Speedway. Name of the game, survival at the toughest track in the business.
Like an overflowing cauldron of humanity, a merciless stage of performances revered in carnage. Today, as then, the combatants fight for much more than pride. Under the cloak of darkness, the determined legions gather within this Coliseum, their emotions as strained as their road-weary bodies. Twisting from within this hardened horde, a band of 5 find themselves and their season facing a most unceremonious end. Tonight, the heavens are filled with more than the roars of engines and egos. Battle-worn and weathered, this resolute crew must harness their will and brandish their abilities once more. As the promise of another day sets upon the shoulders of these determined, fierce 5.
T-minus 10, 9.
The countdown is on, just what Bristol needed. Record-setting heat. With temperatures up, typically hot tempers could be raised to an all-new high. You'll see how this place brings out the road rage in the best of them. Introducing a brand new concrete surface that's earning rave reviews and even more exciting racing. We'll detail the differences and what a difference a few months can make for the chase. Kurt Busch has moved from 17th to 12th in points. He's won 2 of the last 3 weeks, and the 5-time Bristol winner loves it here. There's no place like it in motorsports. 160,000 fans, the electricity and excitement unmistakable. One of the most fun places to watch a race and get behind the wheel. You know that better than Rusty Wallace, who's won here times. As we welcome you into our Fit Studio, I'm Susie Culver. I'm also with us, Brad Daugherty, our former NASCAR team owner. So 9 times, everyone talks about how tough it is. Put yourself back behind the wheel. What makes you so successful here?
Well, number one, I love the short track, Susie. I really do. And when you get to come to Bristol, Tennessee, it's just a fantastic place. The place is the fans' #1 most favorite in all of the NASCAR circuit. It's got a brand new facelift now, and when you run here, you're going to be able to run in the bottom, the middle, and the top, and all over this racetrack. But when I used to come here, I didn't just go to Bristol. I was going to one special racetrack that I love very much. I put my heart and soul into it, and if I could go to anywhere, I wanted to come here, and my head was in the game, and had a lot of success doing it.
Well, it's the ultimate stage for short track racing. I mean, everyone here, driver, fan, whatnot, they've spent a Friday or Saturday night at the local bull ring, half mile or smaller, watching their local heroes participate. So now we're here at Bristol, like I said, 120-mile-an-hour laps. This is the grandest stage of all, watching 43 of the toughest and most talented drivers hook it up. How can you not be fired up to be here at Bristol?
And Brad, you're going to have 160,000 people here.
Just throw it into the mix.
And when Dale Jarrett, our buddy, takes the lead tonight, those flash balls will be going off all
We're going to
through
go
turn 3
crazy.
and 4.
We're going to go crazy.
And through 1 and 2, we're all going to go nuts, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, Dale will be with us in just a few minutes, but did we mention that it's loud? It's really loud and also really hot, but even with the heat, it's a welcome change from the rain. Last Sunday's race at Michigan became Tuesday's 400-miler as rain postponed the start twice. Mother Nature had her way, and so did Kurt Busch with a dominating performance for his 2nd win in 3 weeks, solidifying his hold on the 12th and final spot in the standings. So if the chase for the Nextel Cup were to start right now, here are the top 12 drivers reseeded, as they will be, according to wins, seconds, thirds, and so on. 10 bonus points for each win. Jeff Gordon remains on top. Teammate Jimmy Johnson also has 4 wins. Tony Stewart has 3 victories. And look at Kurt Busch, who now sits 4th with those 2 recent wins, and he is with Jamie Little.
That's right, Susie. It's hard to remember, or it's hard to think that just 4 days ago we were at Michigan in victory lane with this man, Kurt Busch. A rain-drenched time there, and now it's just hot as can be. But Kurt, we're back here at Bristol, a place that you absolutely love. You've won here 5 times. How do you expect Bristol tonight can change up the points?
Well, it could be big. I think this is the biggest step that teams that want to be in the chase have to overcome. So whether you're 7th or whether you're 14th, this is a big pivotal race, and we're right in that mix. We're not out of the woods. We've won a couple races recently, and we're just not out of the woods yet. So we still have to play it smooth and hopefully have a good, consistent finish tonight with the Miller Lite Dodge.
You know, a lot of people talking about you being in that 12th position. A lot of guys banging on the door. They want to come in. We know your crew chief, Pat Trison. He's thinking about the points a lot. How much are you thinking about it with 2 races to go before the chase?
For us, it's just about doing our job and going out there and doing the same thing we've done, and that's helped us win a couple races. So we've got the same game plan. I think there's more pressure on the other competition to catch us because we're doing pretty good, and if they want to keep up, they got to finish well. But tonight, anything can happen with the new Bristol. I'm real proud of the way they've done the racetrack here and the way everything has turned out. So hopefully it'll be a good night for everybody.
All right, Susie, Kurt Busch rolls off 19th, right next to his little brother, Kyle Busch.
Well, he talks about doing his job, but this place will make or break you if you're looking for a win.
Well, this place will probably eat you up big time, but he does have 5 wins here, Kurt does, and he's on a bit of a roll. So when it comes to this chase for the championship, guys, he's looking in really good shape right now.
Yeah, he's got 5 wins here, but if you look at Earnhardt Jr.'s overall statistics, both of them throughout their careers, he's had better finishes. But the problem here is you can't escape the attrition or the problems. If you start in the front, 10 laps into a good hard run, you're already in lap traffic, so you just cannot avoid it. You got to have a game plan. You got to stick to it.
Who would you say is probably, I don't know, the most iffy here, or the guy you'd be watching who really needs to have a good finish?
See, I think Clint Boyer has to have a good finish tonight. He has not had a win, even though he's completed 98% of all the laps. He needs to get a win to ensconce himself into that chase format. Clint Boyer needs a good finish.
Right, he is the only driver who's in that top 12 right now who does not have a win, and Bristol is all about survival. Number 1, Clint Boyer. Whole new ball game here. That's why this race has always been a fan favorite. Bristol enjoying its 51st consecutive sellout. That means 160,000 psyched up race fans from all 50 states and all around the world. One of the toughest tickets in NASCAR, and you've got your front row seat. On the way, the high-banked half mile got a major facelift. You'll be amazed at the changes. Although most drivers say they'd be surprised if it's not like every other Bristol race, 500 laps of excitement. In other words, the tune may be a little different, but it's the same old song.
You know, we're similar to NASCAR drivers.
How's that?
Their tires say Goodyear. Our blimp says Goodyear. They go 185 miles an hour.
We're going 35.
It goes faster.
There's Goodyear innovation at the racetrack and at your Goodyear retailer. Now get up to a $40 gift card by mail-in offer with a purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires. Or double your gift card up to $80 when purchased on your Goodyear credit card.
And 36.
Pedal to the metal.
Goodyear. Get there.
Tibet, land of 1,000 mysteries. Make that 1,001. Race car driver Casey Kane. Casey, why are you here living with a group of nomadic yak herders?
Well, I was drinking vitamin water Revive to recover physically, and I realized I needed to try to recover spiritually too. Here, we all work together, whether it's making yak butter or tanning hides, and we are not competitive with one another.
Hey! Johnson Kiki yak.
Vitamin water, try it.
Do you know your credit score? Do you know what's in your credit report? You can find out for free right now at freecreditreport.com.
Knowing my credit score helped me save money on my home loan.
Now we can monitor all 3 of our national credit reports every day.
It helps us save money and check for potential identity theft.
Just a few clicks, and I get my credit report and credit score free.
Log on now to freecreditreport.com.
Free credit
Offer applies with the Roman Triple Advantage.
All across America, they're getting ready. It's the Captain Morgan Ultimate Pose-Off. Enter, and you can win an ultimate high roller weekend in Vegas. Go to CaptainMorgan.com to enter.
Drink responsibly.
Bam.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Countdown, brought to you by Goodyear. Innovative technology to help you get there.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, where reconstruction started instantly after the race in March. They pretty much worked around the clock. More than 20,000 cubic yards of concrete used. The pits now also concrete and slightly wider, and the track surface smoother and 3 feet wider, banking a little different. All told, the differences are dramatic, and earlier today, Mike Massaro braved the banks.
It's not so much the resurfacing as it is the reconfiguration of the corners here at the Bristol Motor Speedway that's made the biggest difference. In years past, the degree of incline on the slope was constant from the bottom all the way to the top. But after the facelift, there's a big difference. Varying degrees of banking, anywhere from 24 degrees to 30 degrees, depending upon where you measure it. To illustrate that, we've taken a string and taught it from the top of the banking all the way to the bottom of the banking. And as you move up the groove to the center of the racetrack, you can see the gap between the string and the racetrack surface itself is nearly 5.5 inches. It's created a concave shape, more like a cereal bowl. The result, we've seen a lot of side-by-side racing in the Truck Series and Busch Series race already this weekend. Why? Because you can go as fast on the outside groove as you can on the low groove. Sure, it's a whole new brand of Bristol racing, but one that's very, very exciting, and we can expect to see a lot more of that tonight.
Last night, the first chance to see how the new configuration would do with the Busch Series cars. 250 laps under the lights. You wanted side by side, you got it. 9 laps to go. Ryan Newman in the lead, trying to hold off Casey Kane and Jason Leffler. Kane and Newman make contact as Kane makes the incredible pass up top. Leffler also passes Newman, and Kane takes the lead and goes on to take the checkered flag. So what are the drivers thinking about this new surface? Alan Bestwick is with Greg Biffle, who finished 14th last night.
And after the first testing runs that were held here on this racetrack, Greg's comments about the Speedway's reconfiguration, they weren't the most flattering. Now that you've run a race on it, Greg, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's certainly different, characteristic of the racetrack. You know, it has a different personality now. All the drivers look forward to coming here because of this. Bristol has such a personality, and it's changed a little bit, and we've got to get used to that. And it seems like the middle of the racetrack seems to be the better way around it. It doesn't drop down in the corners hard. G-forces aren't there, and the speed's a little bit slower.
You are one of the drivers really scrapping to try and make your way into that chase group, but you start 34th tonight. How do you get to the front from there?
Well, certainly, we've got a pretty good track record here making all the laps. So the important thing is to stay, coherent of what's going on around you. You really got to watch and pay attention. The spotter's really important tonight, and, just work our way into the front. I think we got a pretty fast car. We just really lose qualifying. So we just need to take care of our race car and make good pit stops, and we can work our way to the front. And just want to let everybody know we're thinking about Kyla. We lost to her today at noon. Time a girl that's really strong, and birthday was going to be Monday, to be 10 years old, and we're just thinking about the family, and just wanted to get everybody to know about that.
All right, Greg, thanks. Good luck tonight. Susie?
And Alan, always good to have the Also, the opinion of an experienced veteran, and Dale Jarrett joins us as promised, driver of the UPS Toyota. So how does the car feel differently on this new configuration?
I think the biggest thing is that most drivers have found out that where we had before, it really slammed you down into the banking. And Rusty knows exactly what I'm talking about. You go off into the corner, it really slammed you down into the banking because it was so abrupt. Now it's a better transition. You have a lot smoother transition into the corner and out of the corner. Greg was just talking about how this place had a personality. It does have a different personality now because you don't have that slamming down into turn 1, coming up out of the turn 2 and the bump, the back end getting light. Same thing into 3 and out of 4 where it really flattened out. Now it's a lot smoother transitions into and out. We have a lot more racing room, and I heard you say that there's 3 more feet of asphalt or concrete out there. That doesn't sound like much, but when you get out on the racetrack, it's just such a huge difference.
Dale, I was watching a lot of cars. We were up in the booth yesterday calling the Busch race, Andy and Doc and all of us, and we noticed that a lot of guys were getting deep into turn 3 and deep into turn 1 and just spinning out all by themselves. What would cause something like that?
I think that one of the things is you feel like that you can just drive off in there a lot more because you don't see that banking like you did before. Because before, when we went from the flat surface pretty much, just what little degree of banking that the straightaway had, into the corner, you could really see that difference. Now you can't really see. It's such a smooth transition. You feel like you can drive on off in there, and before you know it, you get yourself in trouble, and it's easy to lose it back in. And as you were talking a while ago, we were talking off camera, Rusty, 2 cars side by side now, you wouldn't think that just running 120 miles an hour around here would get you aero loose, but on the inside, you better be careful. You saw Ryan Newman last night, right towards the end, get loose, get up into Casey Kane on the outside.
What about the tires, Dale? We've heard different guys, including yourself and other people, talking about the tires, and they're a little firm. How does that play into what you're trying to accomplish on the racetrack? I mean, it's got to make it tougher.
Yeah, Goodyear brought a safe tire. It's a little too hard, but you can run them all night long. You just have to decide when you want to make that change to get in there. I think track position is going to be more key than tires are.
A little bit of a new attitude here, guys, and Rusty and Dale have lived it and breathed it. Together, they've run more than 37,000 laps here, so they can speak to how it feels to hurl your body around the bull ring. But there is science involved in negotiating the world's fastest half mile. 500 laps at Bristol takes its toll on even the toughest drivers. To learn the scientific explanation for why Bristol is so brutal, it's time for a little Bristol Physics 101.
Newton's first law of motion says that a car going straight at 130 miles an hour is going to keep going straight at 130 miles an hour unless some force acts upon it.
Physics?
Oh man, physics.
At Bristol, that force is going to be the centripetal force, which is the force that makes the car turn. So to get a car around Bristol at about 110 miles an hour, you need 13,000 pounds. That's about 6.5 tons of force. Any less than that, and the car goes into the wall instead of around the corner.
Well, the G-forces at Bristol, you know, they're different than anything I've ever been involved with.
Your brain is smashed up against your skull. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the G-forces there, how, you know, you're going so fast on such a small racetrack that you're exposed to a tremendous amount of G-forces for a long time.
It's kind of tough because the faster you go, the worse it is, but you want to go fast to get the race over with.
The banking there, you know, you're banked, and it's really shoving you down into the racetrack, and everything goes up 3 times, 4 times the weight, which is unbelievable.
When a driver goes 100 miles an hour around the corners at Bristol, he experiences an acceleration of about 3 Gs, which is comparable to what the astronauts on the space shuttle feel on liftoff. If he takes the turn at 110 miles an hour, he's experiencing about 3.6 Gs. What that means is that a 200-pound driver is feeling a force of about 720 pounds, pushing him out toward the right side of the car.
The way that you drive through the corner at Bristol, everything feels heavier. You're wrestling the wheel, and the wheel just seems like it's heavier because you're pulling against the G-force going through the corners.
It's different than the G-forces like when I raced Indy cars and you pulled 4 Gs around the left-hand corner on a flat racetrack. Here, it's different because the racetrack is banked, so it's almost a vertical G.
So it's physically trying to pull you down in the seat the whole time. You're physically trying to keep yourself up in the seat the whole time where you can kind of see over the dash and see what's going on.
And then as you start to exit a corner, the vertical G sort of goes away, but now you've got all this side G load where you're like, feels like your head is trying to go out the right side window.
As soon as you slow down for a caution or pull on pit road, it seems like your head's almost still spinning in the direction of what it was on the racetrack.
Your inner ear controls your balance, and your inner ear uses gravity to sort of calibrate itself. So when the drivers are going around Bristol at these very high G loads, it sort of gets their inner ear a little discombobulated, and that's why they feel a little dizzy or nauseous right after they get off the track.
As soon as we stop, and I guess because your body's gotten acclimated to making circles and feeling the G loads and such, you get out and all of a sudden now you start getting lightheaded and you kind of get sick at your stomach.
Every time I've left Bristol, I feel like I need to go make 500 right-hand turns so I can go back. At least I can go straight from that point because it is a long night.
Okay, now forget the science. What does it feel like?
It kind of feels that way. I mean, you're out there and you're sweating, you're angry, your temper's getting up, you want to beat somebody up if your car's not handling right. It really changes your whole entire mode after the race is over here at Bristol.
Oh, there's no doubt. The most physically demanding racetrack that we have. And along with that comes mentally tough on you. So you put that together for 500 laps, it is the most difficult thing. And then on top of that, you finish all of that, and even if you've had a good night, you feel like you want to sit down, and then you've got to walk out of this place. You can't even get a ride out of here. You got to walk up the banking and out the gate.
Yeah, and all of that, you have to have concentration and patience. So have fun.
Oh, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It is a lot of fun, is it not, Rusty?
It's a lot of fun. When you win at Bristol, you feel like you've won the Daytona 500.
That's exactly right.
You feel like you get up, pound your chest and say, I'm the man. You feel good if you can pull it off here, that's for sure.
Dale, thanks for coming by. Good
Absolutely. Y'all are going to see a great race tonight. This is the best show the fans are ever going to see.
We're looking forward to it. We know Elliott Sadler, well, he's having a good time, too. Got his first career win here in the spring of 2001 off the driver intros. And drivers love the crazy party-type atmosphere. A ton of history, and that's what Bristol is known for. Winning here is special. Kyle Busch had his taste back in March. So then what was he complaining about on Victory Lane? We'll relive the debut of the COT next.
Starting on tonight's Bud Bowl with a
The forecast, plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures.
Dude, clean up.
Heading back to school? Then head into your neighborhood Radio Shack. Don't just buy stuff, do stuff.
Nobody knows exactly why it happens. But when you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
Right now, during the Get Into a Volkswagen Summer Drive, get 0% APR on select 2007 models.
Hello again, everybody. This is your host, Adam Stockton. Hey, remember last night, Tri-State Super Bowl winner won $91,000. Let's see how we do tonight. And the first number is... Here we go. And the first number is...
I'm all yours.
We pride ourselves in the quality of jewelry we offer and the superior assistance each customer receives.
If you adore it, Lewis Jewelers must have it.
Need one good reason to buy new furniture? Bell Furniture gives you 2010.
Now, during Bell's huge Labor Day sale, pay 0 interest till 2010. Shop incredible Labor Day savings on Bell's huge furniture selection. Every living room, every dining room, every bedroom and mattress is on sale. Then it's all yours with 0 interest and 0 finance charges all the way till 2010. During the huge Labor Day sale at Bell Furniture.
Hurry, the Labor Day sale ends Monday. Furniture, believe it.
This telecast is available on ESPN HD, presented by DirecTV. Back Back in March, the car of tomorrow made its 2007 debut right here at Bristol Motor Speedway. 3 multi-car wrecks and 15 cautions later, Kyle Busch made a gutsy pass on Denny Hamlin to take the lead with 20 laps to go and edged Jeff Burton at the line. Next stop, Victory Lane, where Kyle immediately ripped the COT to shreds.
200 for us, that's 600 for Chevrolet, so glad we could do that for everybody, but I'm still not a very big fan of these things. I can't stand to drive them, they suck.
And Kyle Busch is with us now, 8 COT races later. Kyle, how do you feel about the car tomorrow now?
It's a work in progress.
That's fairly positive.
We're trying to make it better. You know, it's just, you know, I'm not sure what everybody said about the car that we had when it first came out and debuted, but, you know, this thing's getting better. We're just trying to make it work, trying to make it turn, trying to make things that accommodate it more, or something that we're not accustomed to, something we're not used to. So it's taken some time, but, you know, it seems the new Bristol Motor Speedway is accommodating well here, at least better than what it was here in the spring. So I don't know what to expect tonight, but we'll see here in a little bit.
Did you make a conscious decision, Kyle, as an athlete and as a competitor, that it's better to try to figure out how to like this thing versus try to be faster, being mad at it?
I just drive. I mean, whatever's going to make me go faster, whether it's, you know, being mad at it or being happy with it, you know, it's just being a part of racing. And for me to go out there and just to drive every week as hard as I can and to try to get wins and try to win races is just what I'm about. So I've got a drive and I've got a passion that most other drivers have out here too. And, you know, for me, that's trying to take that CarQuest Kellogg Chevrolet to the front and win this thing.
And guess what, guys? Of course, you've already seen it. He starts 20th tonight. That's the exact position he started from and won the race, Susie.
Little foreshadowing there. So there's been 9 COT races. This is the first repeat performance. Has it done its job?
It really has. It's a safe car. It's a competitive car. Susie, they're running side by side with this car a lot. It doesn't have as much downforce as the other cars had, but it's exciting to watch. They slip and slide a little bit. And yeah, some of the drivers complain about it, but you know what? They better get used to it, because all next year they're going to be in the car tomorrow.
You know, the bottom line for this race car for me as a fan is that it's a safe race car. And I get to watch these guys, I get to watch them compete, go hard, and know when they have incidents and accidents that they're probably going to walk away from them, and that says it all for me.
Now, Greg Biffle said that they just need to put this car on a diet. It's just a little too heavy. Is that fair?
It weighs 3,400 pounds, you know, like the rest of them, and it's real top heavy. It rolls a lot because the way the car is designed. So I understand what Greg's saying, but hey, it's the same for everybody.
We know you've got to head upstairs to call the race. We're down here right in the heart of it all. How high up do you have to go?
Above 160,000 fans. I'm way up there, and it'll take a little bit of while to get there, so I'm going to start off now, and I'll be talking to you during the race season.
All right, we'll look forward to the call. It's big energy here. You just don't feel anywhere else. The Saturday night slugfest. Kurt Busch making the points chase interesting. And Denny Hamlin second in the points. He's locked into the chase right now. Juan Pablo Montoya, well, the rookie gets another taste of the Bristol Motor Speedway. Straight ahead, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fighting for a spot in the chase and defending his stepmother. Another drama-filled week for Jr. We'll hear from him next. And speaking of drama, how Bristol tempers flair. The concrete jungle brings out the animal and even the most mild-mannered. Caution, road rage ahead.
Who's next? In football, Calvin Johnson's next. A 6'5" wideout with 4.3 speed and a vertical. Up to here. I mean, odds are, if this guy chucks it downfield, Johnson's reeling it in. Do you know that he was even a pro baseball prospect in high school? Fact. So, yeah, I'd say all that makes Calvin Johnson next.
Whether it's who's next or what's next in the world of sports, nobody serves it up like ESPN the magazine. Call 1-877-ESPN-MAG to get 26 issues for only $1 an issue. Call now and get this sleek MP3 player with your paid subscription, plus free online access to ESPN Insider. Each issue is packed with expert analysis only ESPN can deliver, covering all the stories behind the stories. Next, with 26 issues of ESPN the magazine, plus this sleek MP3 player with your paid subscription. Call now and see what's next.
I thought I was next. Vince Young, Rookie of the Year, fan of the deli. But not next in line, sorry. Half a pound of pastrami, thinly sliced, please.
Ode to the Subway Club. This big hunk of deliciousness boasts roast beef, ham, turkey, and other goodness stacked atop freshly baked bread. It'll be a battle royale on your tongue as taste buds tangle over who gets a shot at this masterpiece of meat. And somehow, amazingly, it still clocks in at just 6 grams of fat. Must be magic. The Subway Club. It's a hunger buster. Subway. Eat fresh.
You want to know what makes a man willing to kill?
From the director of Saw.
My name is Nicholas Hume. I was a happy man, but then a single moment changed everything.
He killed my son. I'm coming for the rest of your family. Kevin Bacon.
I need guns.
This Friday, protect what's yours. Death Sentence. Rated R. Starts Friday.
All across America, they're getting ready. It's the Captain Morgan Ultimate Pose-Off. Enter, and you can win High Roller Weekend in Vegas. Go to CaptainMorgan.com to enter.
Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile in motorsports. Casey Kane, who drives the number 9, has been great qualifying here. In fact, he's on the pole soon. The race to the chase for the Nextel Cup, just 3 races to go. 2 drivers locked in, Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin. 2 more can secure spots tonight. Matt Kenseth, just by starting, and Tony Stewart. Anyone who leads 13th place by 391 points after tonight has mathematically clinched a spot. It gets a little scarier, 7 through 17. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, and Greg Biffle all lost ground on Kurt Busch at Michigan. Dale Jr. trails Busch by 163 points. Newman is 8 back of Jr. Mike Massaro with the man who's always in the spotlight.
And Susie, this has been a pretty good racetrack for Dale Earnhardt Jr. over the years. 5 top 10 finishes in his last 6 races here, including a victory. But this racetrack's a lot different than the last time you were here. That said, how have you had to adjust?
Well, you just have to learn where the lines are, and they've done a great job. Where you saw last night in the Busch race, the cars were running from the bottom all the way to the top. So I think they've done a great job. I'm really excited about the next couple trips when we come here as Goodyear starts to dial the tire in for this place. It'll really be a lot more fun, and hopefully tonight we got a good car. I think we ran good in practice.
I don't know if you've read the papers lately, but you made a lot of headlines recently. Yesterday, went out on a limb in there and defended Teresa. Why did you feel like you needed to do that?
I felt like I can make a big difference. It gives me no satisfaction to see her get beat up in the press or on the internet or whatever, and especially here of late since we announced the deal with the 8 not coming with me. I mean, I'm understandably upset that it ain't gonna happen, but the things that I hear said about her getting pretty ridiculous, and I just don't think no matter what my relationship is with Teresa, she doesn't deserve it, and nobody really deserves it. So hopefully she has a little bit easier road here in the next couple months.
One driver that still calls Teresa Earnhardt her owner for the next few years at least is Martin Truex Jr., and he's with Jamie Little.
And we're in the back of the pickup now waiting to make our lap around the track here. Martin Truex Jr., though, been 11th in the points for a little over a month now, Martin. So you're looking to make your first chase. What has this race for the chase been like for you over the last month?
It's been tough. You know, we've been right there on the cusp of it for a while now. So it's been a little nerve-wracking, but my guys on the Bass Pro Shops team have been bringing me really good Chevrolets, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So just want to keep running good and finishing up front. That's what we're here to do, and if we can keep doing that, the rest will take care of itself.
When you look at results and points, you have been the most consistent DEI driver. What sets you apart from your 2 teammates? 3 now with Martin.
I don't know. Well, Mark's been pretty consistent when he runs, so he'll be tough. But, you know, Junior and them, they've been running really, really good, and they just had a lot of trouble. We've had our share of trouble, too. So we've all been running well all year long, both us and 8. And Paul and the 15, they're starting to get their, their program on the right track. It's taken them a little while, but I know what it's like to be a rookie. So it's tough on them. But looking forward to it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been an up and down year. We came from way back in the points at the start of the year to get where we're at. Just real proud of my team, real proud of their effort all year long, and hopefully we can get through these next 3 races and make the chase and go after them in the championship.
Well, Susie, they call him the new face of DEI, and he rolls off 25th tonight.
Well, Jamie, we've got DEI past, present, and future, and to cover it all, we're joined by NASCAR insider Marty Smith. Marty, why do you think Dale Jr. is defending Teresa now?
Susie, you just got too ruthless. It's really that simple. I look at it as a situation where this is family. It's like most family situations. I can say whatever I want about my family, but the minute an outsider comes in and tries to say something bad about my family, I'm going to defend them. Ultimately, Junior wants what's best for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. That is the company his father founded, and he's actually coming to all of their defense right now. I don't think he was prepared for the backlash that his comments last weekend at Michigan elicited. This is a way to try to make that a little bit better with the fan base.
And what's the latest word on who's going to be behind the wheel of the number 8 next year?
Yeah, sources close to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated told me this week that they're working feverishly to try to get a situation where Mark Martin and Eric Almirola can split an Army-sponsored number 8 Chevrolet in 2008. That is the perfect transition from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Everybody likes Mark Martin. He's the elder statesman of the sport right now, and everybody's behind the Army. Also, that opens the door in 2009 for a big-time, full-time replacement for Earnhardt Jr. Greg Biffle has been long speculated as possibly that replacement.
And what have you learned about Gibbs Racing making the move to Toyota?
Well, I think Tony Stewart's personal racing teams might be holding that up. Sources close to Gibbs tell me that Stewart's cars in USAC and World of Outlaws are sponsored by Chevrolet, and an executive board at Gibbs has to unanimously vote on any big change in the company, so obviously that's a big hang-up for Stewart. He also has a personal endorsement contract with Chevrolet as well.
Marty, thanks. We're going to add a little more news here. The number 31 is going to be naked tonight without logos. AT&T is asking for more time in court trying to find a way to stay on the car. They're mired in a legal dispute with NASCAR and Sprint Nextel. RCR had to remove all the AT&T logos off pit equipment, and the team's personnel are wearing RCR shirts. Burton had a new driver suit shipped to the track Friday. Richard Childress told Marty this morning he has no plans to sue NASCAR. And in case you missed it last week, Ricky Rudd announced that he will be retiring from Nextel Cup competition after this season. Rudd made his NASCAR debut in 1975. Now, 30 years later, he has 23 wins in the top series, but never won a championship.
Yeah, this news got lost in the rain at Michigan too, Susie. And Ricky Rudd's a great guy. And I remember, if you think about the old scenes of some of the NASCAR footage, you see the number 15 car doing the barrel rolls at Daytona, and then him getting out the next week going to race at Richmond, and they had to tape his eyes open. What a class act, a very tough guy, and sport's going to miss him.
Yes, Rudd starting 8th tonight in the Snickers Ford. Still on the way, those drivers who are poised to claim a spot in the chase tonight. Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth. You'll hear from them as we return to the concrete jungle.
Come on, Penelope, wait!
We'll talk about it when I get back.
With our help at Radio Shack, you don't just buy stuff, you do stuff.
Every lap, every race, every championship was won his way.
Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out.
Behind the wheel, he was a legend. Behind the legend,
This is where I work every day.
he was one of us.
I can win a race on Sunday and I can feed the cows on Monday.
Chevy and Goodwrench present Dale, an exclusive motion picture event. Check your local listings for airtimes. Only on CMT.
Okay, everybody, we're on a tight deadline. Only 10 minutes for lunch. Starting now.
When you're short on time, reach for a Hormel Completes microwave meal. It's a satisfying meal that's ready in just 90 seconds. Introducing Hormel Completes. Real food, real fast.
You ready for this?
Tiger Woods, PGA Tour 08, ready for everyone. EA Sports, it's in the game.
It's the Coliseum of racing and NASCAR gladiators set to battle. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Drivers getting a lift around the track for introductions. A great chance for the fans to show their love and drivers to actually hear them before this place gets so loud you can't even hear yourself think. A couple of drivers, Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart, can punch their tickets to the chase tonight at Bristol. For Stewart to secure his spot, the two-time champ has to add 74 points to his total, which factors out to a 29th place finish. All Kenseth needs to do is start his car. Dave, that's easy, right?
Well, he is here. His car is over there, so by starting the race, hopefully you'll make it to that point and lock yourself into the chase, Matt. Does that take any pressure off you at this point and just allow you to race for fun and wins?
Well, not really. I mean, we really race for wins every week. I mean, that's what you go try to do. I mean, I've never been in a race where I was like, I don't want to win that one, you know. So, I mean, you're always racing for wins, but, you know, it feels good that we're in. I'm glad we're not 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, somewhere in that range. But really, we felt pretty good about it the last few weeks unless we had major problems. So I'm glad we're in, but we need to get running good, get some momentum, and have a shot, you know, in the chase. It's all about winning a championship, not just getting in it, but, you know, winning it once you're there. And we got some work to do to get running as good as some other guys.
Yeah, what kinds of things do you and Robbie have to really work on between now and Loudon to ramp up for the chase?
Well, just the engineering department, everybody's been working hard on stuff for these COT cars, especially try to get them better. And we're trying to start implementing some of that stuff and doing a little bit more testing and trying some of the stuff at the track just to try to get caught up and be a little stronger down the stretch run.
Hey, he'll get a good short track test on the high banks tonight. Alan?
Doing a little truck surfing here around turn 2 with Tony Stewart. Tony, you can lock your place in the chase in tonight. Are you aware of the scenarios at all?
Nope. Unfortunately, no. I mean, somebody told me a little bit about it today, but the biggest thing, we're just trying to, we want to get that win and try to get another 10 bonus points. I mean, we know, I guess I know enough to know that we got a really good shot at locking in tonight, but, you know, the odds are really good in our favor that we're going to make it now. It's just a matter of going out and trying to get the 10 extra bonus points each week. And I tell you what, the fans got we're going to have an awesome night tonight to watch, because this is going to be a cool race to watch on TV. I think it's going to be the best race they've probably seen in 15 or 20 years here since it was asphalt. So I'm excited. I bet I'm as excited as the race fans are to get this thing going.
And hear the energy in your voice. You dominated the race in the spring here till a mechanical issue set you back. How is your car for tonight's race?
It's kind of similar to where we were in the spring as far as in happy hour. We weren't really good till about this time of day, and it seemed like our car got a lot better. So we made a couple changes and changed a couple more things, and we're all trying not to fall into the trucks first. That might impede our progress, but I think we're going to be decent. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows till we get about 40 laps underway here and you know, really get a chance to see exactly what we all got.
Hang on, please. Tony?
I'm hanging on to you to make sure you don't fall too.
Thank you. 29th or better does the job tonight for Tony. Susie?
That's fun stuff. So Gordon's locked in, Hamlin's locked in, Kenseth almost locked in, but is there any such thing as being conservative here?
Oh, absolutely not. Like we said earlier, I mean, once you get going this racetrack, even if you're out front, you start up front, 10 to 15 laps in, if you're really cooking it, you're going to be in lap traffic. So it's tough. There's no hiding.
For everyone with dreams of the chase, the pressure is on high. Mix in the bull ring, and you have a recipe for road rage.
This track can really bring out the frustration in the driver.
In Bristol, you're so tight. You got 43 cars on a half-mile racetrack, and you can't get away from anybody. You're on top of somebody all the time.
There's never a time where you can just catch your breath, calm down, you know, get your thoughts collected. It's just high intensity the whole race.
What are they doing here? Gets in the back of Junior.
You don't pay attention, you don't know what he's doing.
I was running along just fine, and Dale Jr. decided to, you know, move me out of the group. Hey, nobody runs into me.
You have to give and take as a driver, and nobody wants to give. They all want to take, and for that reason, I think the tempers flare up.
I ran over his ass because I was mad. That's what happened.
Maybe the sun will
Volkswagen. The clouds will blow away. It gets into you.
Right now, during the Get Into a Volkswagen Summer Drive, get 0% APR on select 2007 models.
Tibet, land of 1,000 mysteries. Make that 1,001. Race car driver Casey Kane. Casey, why are you here living with a group of nomadic yak herders?
Well, I was drinking vitamin water Revive to recover physically, and I realized I needed to try to recover spiritually too. Here, we all work together, whether it's making yak butter or tanning hides, and we are not competitive with one another. Hey!
Vitamin water, try it.
Total commitment, raw emotion, pure excitement. The 2007 Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. World Championship tomorrow on ABC. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern.
In racing, the lucky dog is the guy who gets his lap back after a caution flag. But at Aaron's, everybody's a lucky dog. At Aaron's, you can get a lap back on your credit no matter what your situation is because there are no credit checks at Aaron's. You're pre-approved. And Aaron's has the lowest prices on name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers guaranteed. Come see why everybody's a lucky dog at Aaron's. Attaboy Lucky, good dog.
Right now, at Bayway Lincoln Mercury, save thousands on a new Mercury Mountaineer. For a limited time, purchase a Mercury Mountaineer for $22,995 after rebates. That's over $4,000 in savings. And if you currently own a Mercury Mountaineer, trade it in. Get an additional $1,000 in rebates and drive out for as low as $21,995. That's over $5,000 in savings, but only for a limited time. At Bayway Lincoln Mercury, Gulf Freeway, Exit Fuquay, open Sunday.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway as NASCAR Countdown continues. I'm joined now by the Bud Pole recipient, Casey Kane. And Casey, a lot of people last night in the Busch race said that was a surprising win you pulled off at the very end. But that race was done with the old car. What are we going to see with this new surface with the car of tomorrow?
I think it's going to be another great race. Last night was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, in practice in the Cup car was the same way. They handle a little different, but I think at the end of the race, I mean, it's going to be a battle the last 200 laps, and it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great show.
How important is it to start in that first spot and keep it there for 500 laps?
Well, I think the pit stop's really good. You know, this pit road's pretty tough, so having that stall's good, and just trying to do the right things all night, having good pit stops and staying, you know, keeping track position will be a big deal. Passing's kind of tough, but kind of easy. So it's, you know, I think you can fall back and get on the right sequence and still have a good race.
All right, Susie, Casey Kane still looking for his first victory in the Cup Series. Let's see if he can sweep the weekend.
Thanks, Jamie. Casey Kane trying to pull off the sweep that Matt Kenseth pulled off last August, winning both the Busch and Cup Series events. Now, Andy Petrie, this is the 10th race of the year. These guys have run the car of tomorrow. And the first time they've ever come back to a track where they were before. It debuted here back in March. And now with the new concrete surface, how will things be different? You talked to a lot of crew chiefs. How will things be different here tonight with that car on this surface?
Well, it's been a few months since they debuted this car, and we heard some of the comments about the car not being that great to drive. And really, it's no better to drive now. It doesn't drive any better now than it did then. The one thing we do have, though, is this new racetrack, and they're going to love this place because you can race all over it. These guys are going to run 2, 3 wide. We even saw them 4 wide last night. It's going to be incredible, and these guys are probably going to think a little better about the car just because the racetrack's a little bit better.
The whole concept of this car is to make it tougher to drive and make these guys have to climb up on the wheel, right?
And that's what it was designed to be, a little tougher to drive. It makes about half the downforce of the old car, and so that was kind of part of the plan. And it does. It's done its job. It doesn't drive as good as the other car, but the one byproduct that we've gotten from this is the car's a lot tougher. We've seen how these cars are able to hit the wall, hit each other, and run off the racetrack and be very, very durable.
Well, as always, Framin and Bamman here at Bristol, how durable are those cars? The man who really knows, down in our Dish Tech Center. Let's go down to Tim Brewer. Thanks, Jerry. Right here at Bristol, we built in a little bit of bumper right here, folks. It's called the proverbial chrome horn. These guys right here, they bump and run, but with this bumper, they're going to have to hit these guys just a little bit harder. But this Bristol, they're going to hit, they're going to beat, they're going to bang, and the airbags are going to go off, folks, because they're going to hit them, each one of them, hit them hard enough to move them right out of the way because, hey, they dug the racetrack up, and they made it better. The surface is better to race on, but they didn't move it. Folks, it's still Bristol.
Cutaway Car is brought to you by Chevy, the most wins in NASCAR history, an American revolution.
What a matchup, the car of tomorrow versus the concrete of today. When we come back, Susie Culver will talk with that man. 5-time winner here at Bristol, Jeff Gordon.
Dream is still alive, someday it will come true. And this country, it belongs to folks like me and you. So let the voice of freedom sing out through this land. This is our country.
The all-new Chevy Silverado, the 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year.
The World Series of Poker main event, Tuesdays at 8 on ESPN.
Kurt Busch has won the last 2 out of 3 as he races for the Cup. So celebrate with Miller Lite, the only light beer to win 4 gold awards in the World Beer Cup. Now you know why Miller Lite proudly sponsors the Blue Deuce. Winners love company. Miller Lite, good call.
Are these numbers right? Yes. Do you know what this means? It means we have doubled in the last 6 months. It means we're going to have to hire more people and move into a bigger space to get those key card things. But we'll need to order a lot more wood. What if this continues?
Dave, isn't that kind of the idea?
Citibank Business Banking. Whatever your growing business needs, Citibank's there with guidance and customized solutions to help your business thrive. Come to Citi and let's get it done.
Kurt Busch has won the last 2 out of 3 as he races for the Cup. So celebrate with Miller Lite, the only light beer to win 4 gold awards in the World Beer Cup. Now you know why Miller Lite proudly sponsors the Blue Deuce. Winners love company. Miller Lite, good call.
Race fans, the chase for the Nextel Cup is here on NASCAR Hot Pass, only on DirecTV. Follow the top NASCAR drivers as they charge to the finish in the season's championship run. Don't miss your chance to ride shotgun with this week's featured drivers. Order the chase for just $19.99 and see who drives away with this year's title. NASCAR Hot Pass, exclusively on DirecTV.
Mike Allstott's fantasy owners loved him. He scored 37 touchdowns for them when we played together, even though I did all the real work. But hey, I'm not bitter. I am proud to enshrine touchdown fantasy Hall of Famer, Mike Allstott.
Looking for this year's fantasy heroes?
Let it go, little buddy. Let it go.
Get the best expert advice and analysis at ESPN. Sign up and play for free today at ESPN.com.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Countdown, brought to you by TGI Fridays Restaurant's new Right Portion, Right Price menu. Give me more Fridays.
Wednesday in the truck race, he went for the...
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway and down on the grid with Jeff Gordon, who's had a streak of bad luck the last couple of weeks, running really well, running near the front, but then spin outs. What goes through your mind the instant that's happening for the second time?
Well, one is I don't think it's bad luck. I caused it. I caused the one at Watkins Glen. And last week we had some kind of tire or something going down. Still not bad luck. It just happens. It's part of racing. But, at Watkins Glen, I was pretty disappointed in myself. And so what was going through my mind is just disappointment. I felt like we had a car capable of winning at least a first or second place car. So would like to have gotten those 10 bonus points in that win. But you put it behind you as fast as you can, and you move on to the next one. Here we are at Bristol, and got a great DuPont Chevrolet. Unfortunately, we're starting 18th, but we got a racetrack that's unbelievable tonight. So I'm hoping that we don't have any issues getting to the front if we got a car capable of doing it.
I was trying to be kind, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
So you come to Bristol where you've won 5 times, but they've changed the track. How does it feel different to you?
It's totally different. It's different when you look at it. It's different when you drive it. It's more like a bowl where before, you drop down in the corners and then, it whipped you through the corners. You got hard on the gas. Car got real light up off the corner. Now, it's really hard to get these. It's more of a momentum track. It's so smooth. I think we can do things more with our setup. I think it's better for the car of tomorrow than the other car, than the other track surface. But it's going to be an interesting night. I'm excited. All those notes and all those wins, all those things we've had in the past here at Bristol, throw that all out the window.
What is it about this place that brings out the bad tempers in drivers?
Well, I think anytime you're on a half-mile racetrack that has almost 30-degree banking and you're getting around there in 16 seconds, a lot of things are going to happen. And people, plus this crowd, man, the energy from this crowd just gets everybody fired up. It's a great show. It's a lot of action, a lot of fun, and you want to win. And it's tight quarters out there, and usually tempers flare when we start running into one another. So hopefully we got a wide enough racetrack. We don't do too much of that tonight. We just have great three-wide racing like we had last night.
I would say stay cool, but I think that's impossible. Jeff,
Not going to happen.
Night.
Thank you, though.
Best of luck. When we come back, Dr. Jerry Punch will be here to send you off to opening ceremonies.
Heat. Enemy of engines. Enemy of heat. Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually separate and reform to help conquer heat. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Coach, I have a question. I love Cold Coors Light.
Well, it's really not a question.
Whoa, Coach, the labels on these cold-activated bottles turn blue when the beer gets cold. How's that work?
Well, you should know that.
When the mountains turn blue, your beer is cold and ready for kickoff.
Coach, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I'd have to see some visual evidence at some point.
Yeah, I was just back there in the woods, came out through those pines.
There it was, and it just took off right back over there and was gone.
I tried to get my camera out to take a picture, but you can't see anything on it.
I've never seen anything like it.
I want one.
It's him again, Danny. Hey!
You there? Look, I said no calls at work. Oh! Didn't know I had to make an appointment.
Look, I'm just trying to earn some paycheck.
Oh, bring up the $1 million you're trying to win me? What are you doing that's so important? I got stuff going on today too, man. I gotta go shopping for a birthday gift for my girlfriend. She does not want an amplifier. I found that out the hard way.
Enter the Sprint Speed Million Sweepstakes presented by Motorola. You could get a call from an Nextel Cup driver and a chance at $1 million.
College football lives here on ESPN. And to see it all, you need the ESPN Game Plan pay-per-view package. With key matchups and rivalries from major conferences, you'll get up to 12 extra games every Saturday. Order now for the special early bird offer, and you'll be all set for a full season of great college football with ESPN Game Plan. ESPN Game Plan presented by Olivia. Just $109 for a limited time. To order, call your pay-per-view provider. Games also available on ESPN360.com.
Our NASCAR Nextel Cup action at Bristol is being presented by Pennzoil. Not just oil, Pennzoil. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Can-Am, the ultimate ride. And by Sprint, featuring NASCAR Nextel Cup Series updates at Sprint Speed. The clock is ticking in the race to the chase with 5 drivers battling to either get in or stay in the top 12 on all-important race to the chase here for NASCAR's Nextel Cup. Just 3 races remaining, and it all begins here tonight. How do these 5 stack up at Bristol? Well, Busch is the best in terms of the win column. Earnhardt Jr. is the other one to win. Visit Victory Lane, and Greg Biffle has the best average finish overall. He has 5 top 10 finishes and just 9 starts here. Bristol Motor Speedway, a concrete coliseum with 3-story high bankings filled to capacity. Over 160,000 diehard NASCAR fans. They look forward to coming here every year. It is this Saturday night in August, the sultry Saturday, when the sleepy quiet here of the mountains of East Tennessee are shattered by the piercing roar of 800 horsepower NASCAR stock car engines. It is the night that race fans will talk about for an entire year. This track first opened in 1961, and back then it only cost $600,000 to build. There were 18,000 seats back then. Tonight, they can seat more in the restrooms than that. Over 160,000 people on hand, as tonight, the 94th NASCAR Nextel Cup Series event will be held here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It has been compared to the Rose Bowl of racetracks, an incredible sight as we get set to go trackside for opening ceremonies here before this massive crowd of diehard stock car fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the presentation of colors by the Air Force Combat Climatology Center team. And remain standing and remove your caps for tonight's invocation by Bernard Brunstra.
Dear Lord, Bristol, the Tri-Cities, and all of our guests welcome you and the Holy Spirit here tonight. We pray for the safety of all of the fans, the drivers and their crews, and all of the people who have made this possible tonight. Father, we are so much in love with you, and thank you for our love. Thank you for the protection and the safety, and particularly bring home our troops, our servicemen and women. Bring them home safely, quickly, and in victory. Thank you, Lord. Thanks for racing the way it ought to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join in singing our national anthem with the children of the drivers and crews from Motor Racing Outreach.
Color and pageantry of pre-race festivities here at Bristol Motor Speedway. The sons and daughters of many of these crews and drivers there to be able to sing the national anthem, and they allowed the drivers and the crews to be out to watch that before having to get in the car here tonight. There's the flyover, F-16s from the 121st Fighter Squadron, District of Columbia Air National Guard. Well, take a look at our point standings after 23 of 36 events. Only 3 races remaining in the race to the chase. Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin are in. Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart could be in tonight, but an all-important 12th position. Last week's winner, Kurt Busch, solidly there. The good news for Dale Earnhardt Jr. is he moved from 14th to 13th. The bad news is he is still further back than he was a week ago. He was 100 points back entering last week. He's 163 points back, so it is really time for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to make his move here tonight. Hello, everyone. Along with the champs, Rusty Wallace and Andy Petrie, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here on what is a gorgeous night here in Bristol, Tennessee. And there is a reason this is the hottest ticket in all of NASCAR. You know, Bristol's always been about bare knuckles of full contact stock car racing. And tonight the drivers are implying, Rusty, that they're going to see something that they have never seen before happen at this racetrack.
And Jerry, what that is, everybody's always run the bottom lane here at Bristol because there was no second or third lane. But tonight, guys, second lane and third lane is probably where you want to run. This new banking angle is really working good, and the drivers are loving it.
Andy, with 2 and 3 wide racing now, how will that alter the mindset of a crew chief in terms of race strategy?
Well, track position has been so important here in the past because it is just single file, or has been just single file racing. And now with the racetrack able to go 2 and 3 wide, you'll give up some of that. Maybe you'll go back and get tires and try to see what you can get at the end of the race. There's more than one way to win on this new concrete, so it's going to be very interesting to see the strategies these guys play out.
Wow, 2 and 3 wide racing at Bristol. This should be fun to watch. Coming up, 500 laps of full contact stock car racing in Bristol, Tennessee. We'll fire them up when we come back.
I can't let my allergy medicine put me in a fog, so I only ride Claritin Clear. Claritin relieves my worst allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours, and it's proven to make me alert and focused, not drowsy. So I stay razor sharp. Live Claritin Clear.
Give it to me, 1, 2, 3.
Introducing Applebee's new Ultimate Trios. Great taste, great big portions, and a great price. Choose 3 from 7 delicious options to create the ultimate platter at an unbeatable price. New Ultimate Trios, only at Applebee's.
It has been an up and down season for Napa Racing, but I still get letters from my fans, like from Joel in Columbus. No, they didn't accidentally give me the carb yesterday. And Jerry in Minneapolis. I am aware that Turn 3 is not a school zone. And here's one from Mr. N.A. Pa in Atlanta. Well, that's not very nice. N.A. Pa.
Life comes at you fast. But with nationwide Blue Ribbon claim services, you don't have to worry. We can guarantee all your repairs and writing for as long as you own the car.
Nationwide is on your side.
No matter where you are, no matter how fast you go, what's inside, we'll show everything. Every car, every driver, every ding and dent will be different with this.
Different.
Look. It's amazing. It's the mirrors.
HDTV powered by DLP. See how millions of tiny mirrors make the picture amazing.
Get 3-year no-interest financing on all Mitsubishi and Samsung HD TVs powered by DLP.
This Wednesday night,
I have an aggressive nature.
Go behind the scenes.
You can't worry about he's gonna die. You can't.
Way behind the scenes in the fastest show, the fastest drama on Earth. NASCAR in primetime, Wednesday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
After 2 days of steady rains and keeps fans on their feet, it's NASCAR's finest up there on the green flag. No trouble, Juan Pablo Montoya.
It's not a matter of if he's gonna wreck, it's a matter of when he's gonna wreck.
The 8 car all the way through his pit.
Get up, back up, right there, back up.
This is a costly mistake by the driver. Lilve on pit road, working out the fin. This is a long time for the 12 car.
Kurt Busch comes down in dominating fashion and wins at Michigan.
It's Miller time, boys.
That was 1 week ago, actually about 5 days ago, as Kurt Busch won his second race of the year, his 17th of his career. He led 4 times for 92 laps. The problem is he finished 37th here last year and finished 29th back in the spring, hoping to break that jinx in the last 2 outings at Bristol Motor Speedway. Drivers say the 3-story high concrete banks here remind them of the Coliseum where the gladiators competed and fought for so many years. They're getting set to battle here on the high banks for 500 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's all about survival. Can you survive? Can you get your car to the finish? Can you overcome the pushing and shoving and rooting and gouging that takes place here on the 3-story high banks? We'll find out who can get it done as we go down trackside for the command.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the words we've all been waiting for, Sharpie 500 Grand Marshal Penny Burton.
Drivers, start your engine!
Crank it up, let me know if it's running. I'll call the commitment line getting on our pit road 10 away.
Step up, Brown. Be running your brake pads here, left front, right front, monitor your caution lights to the radio.
Deputy clear on
engines have fired and 43 of NASCAR's finest know what comes next. It's time to roll and get serious with the game face on at Bristol Motor Speedway. Our starting grid. Casey Kane picked up his second pole of the year and 14th of his career. And as you look across the top of our screen, you'll see that there are two rookies starting in the front two rows. Juan Pablo Montoya equals his best ever start and best career start for David Reagan, who will start fourth here tonight. Let's visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the Office Depot Ford, Carl Edwards, who starts back in the 6th position.
Carl Edwards, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
Loud and clear, Rusty.
Well, Carl, this year you've won almost every single concrete track that you've run on. How does this track right here compare to the rest of them?
Man, I don't know if you've driven around it, Rusty, but it's awesome. It's just it's brand new concrete. It's real tough to get a hold of right now, but the good thing is you can run the high side, you can run the bottom. It's like Dover, but you can run the top. I mean, it's pretty neat.
Well, Carl, with that said, where's the best place to pass on this racetrack? Have you identified a place that you think's going to work good for you?
I mean, everybody watched the truck race and the bush race. It looks like, that just wherever the guy in front of you is not. It looks like you can run the top. I mean, Casey Kane squeezed around him on the top, and I saw some guys pass on the bottom last night, but I think it's just wherever that guy in front of you is not.
All right, buddy, have a good one. Bring her home tonight.
Making the calls for Carl tonight will be his crew chief, Bob Osborne. Let's talk with him.
Hey, Bob Osborne, Andy Petrie at ESPN. You got a copy?
Doing, Andy.
Hey, Bob, with this new racetrack, we got a lot more passing lanes and a lot more options for these drivers. How's that going to change your strategy down there on pit road?
Well, it's going to be exciting to watch, that's for sure. But you don't have to worry. At least I'm hoping. So much about track position here. You can come when you feel like you need to come for tires and fuel, and go back there and pass in whatever lane you're working the best in.
10-4, that sounds good. We'll be watching. Good luck.
Thank you, Andy.
What should we be watching for here tonight as these cars get set to roll for 500 laps of racing? Well, to help explain, let's head down to the pits. First, here's Alan Bestwick.
Well, Doc, there are two groups of drivers competing within tonight's race. One group, a group of drivers who've already clinched their place in the chase for the Nextel Cup, or those who've been totally eliminated from it. And that second group, those drivers on the bubble who have still yet to lock in their place in the chase. For that latter group, tonight's a big worry. The spins and bumps and crashes that are so easily a part of a Bristol race for a driver to get caught up in, they have to avoid those and come out with a good finish to try and lock in their chase position. Have a good finish tonight, according to Martin Truex, the 11th place driver in points, and those hopes for the chase become much more of a reality.
Well, Alan, the short track here at Bristol usually leads to short tempers. You add in the fact that it's 95 degrees and about 100% humid tonight, and you have the hottest ticket in NASCAR. Bristol under the lights, you can see all the fans around me. It's unbelievable, the energy here tonight. But as Casey Kane proved last night, the driver who has the most patience, the best fitness, and has the coolest head at the end of those laps will end up in victory lane. Now, the best thing about tonight, we're doubling all that excitement from last night, and we're going 500 laps. Mike Massaro?
Well, Jamie, over the years, there's been a common yet controversial passing technique synonymous with Bristol, the bump and run. Most drivers agree the best way to get around someone is to simply root and gouge your way by. But with the reconfiguration, there's a new era, a kinder, friendlier version of racing here in Bristol. And the rough and tumble days may be behind us and replaced with finesse racing. Most drivers agree that while there's multiple grooves of racing, they will not be fighting for the same piece of real estate. And because of that, they think the bump and run may be over. Except for one thing, the final lap. When the checkers are out and the money's on the line, all bets are off. These drivers will certainly not be afraid to use their front bumper on the final lap here in Thunder Valley. Dave?
Well, Mike, last night in the Busch Series race, we did see some problems on pit road. But tonight, the problem will be congestion. We expect to see a lot more problems on pit road just because these cars pit with a pack mentality. Well, why do they do that? Well, they have an unlimited supply of tires to give to their drivers here, unlike last night in the Busch Series where they are limited. So at this place, with these race cars, everyone wants to keep their drivers on the best tires at all times. Fresh tires are faster. So you'll see them all pit together. Hopefully they won't have trouble on pit road because down here, everybody's in a hurry, Doc.
Thanks, guys. Great stories we'll be following all night long. Imagine that. Finesse at Bristol, packed mentality, and obviously hot temperatures and hot tempers here, as you always see at Bristol, Tennessee. Well, we'll give you a ride tonight with 9 high-definition onboard cameras. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starts 17th in the Wrangler Budweiser Chevrolet. Eddie Hamel starts 37th in the FedEx Chevy. Tony Stewart 23rd, the Home Depot Chevrolet. Jamie McMurray starts 3rd in the Crown Royal Ford. Kevin Harvick 13th, the Shell Pennzoil Chevy. Jeff Burton 10th in the AT&T Chevy. Michael Waltrip back in 16th in the Napa Auto Parts Toyota. Carl Edwards, we've already heard from him. He starts 6th in the Office Depot Ford. And, of course, our pace car, Brett Bodine, former NASCAR driver and winner, will be driving the Chevy pace car with our Chevy bow tie onboard camera, looking back at the field here as he leads them through the high banks in Bristol, Tennessee. Unbelievable scenery here in Bristol, 160,000. It is a sold-out crowd. This thing's been sold out for years. Fans will these tickets to each other because you never want to give up your tickets to Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol's the hottest ticket on the circuit, Jerry. There's just absolutely no doubt about that. Everybody wants to come here, and if you're a driver and you win at this racetrack, you feel like you've won the Daytona 500. That's just a big race. You look forward to it, and, man, I just can't imagine what's going through these drivers' minds right now.
It is a 500-lap test of man and machine here on a half-mile racetrack. All concrete, brand-new surface. First time the NASCAR Nextel Cup cars have run here. You heard how excited the drivers were about what could happen tonight. 2 and 3 wide, they're predicting. Pit road speed 30 miles per hour. There's the pit window. A lot of different strategy. By the way, the banking here now 24 to 30 degrees transitional and somewhat parabolic in the corners.
And the drivers seem to love it. They really like these different bank angles. And right now, there's only 4 tracks in America that have this type of multi-bank angle tracks. That's Homestead Speedway, Urbandale out in California, the new Iowa Speedway, and now Bristol. It seems like it's worked really well, and we'll see what happens tonight here at Bristol.
Remember, just 3 races remain in the race to the chase. This race is critical. Can Dale Earnhardt Jr. get back in it? Can Kurt Busch hang on? What about Ryan Newman? Can he get there? A lot of anxious, a lot of nervous drivers here buckled up in these cars. Well, glad to have you with us. We invite you to buckle up your seatbelts on the sofas at home because the 500-lap Battle of Bristol is about to begin. You wonder why we call this place Thunder Valley? You're about to find out because the Thunder is headed out of turn 4 to the green flag.
Looks like they've called off the green flag here.
They're going to have to get a push truck now.
NASCAR has called off the green flag because the 49 car has had a problem over in the turn. That's John Andretti. His car has stalled over at the very top of turn 2, so rather than NASCAR very quickly making an adjustment so there would not be a safety issue.
Yeah, there's no way they could start the race here. We had that car stalled up in the top groove. NASCAR heads up there, just kept the cars from going green. That could have been a mess here if they'd start the race with that car sitting there.
Andy, a lot of times as a driver, your steering wheel, you're going to pull it off and reclock it for the start, but in order to do that, a lot of people like to pull up out of the way. Now, he might have hit the kill switch on his steering wheel, and he's fighting trying to get that car refired right now. That could be what the problem is.
You can see John's right hand on the dashboard. They're trying to flip those switches back and forth, and now you've called to the pits. They will call the safety crew and wrecker out to give him a push and try to get him going. Well, everything happens at Bristol, even before the green flag. We got cars having trouble up on the banking.
We have our first caution before the race went green.
While they get the 49 car fired and back in position, we'll take a quick break and come back with a green flag at Bristol, Tennessee in just a moment.
We wanted to show you the difference between shopping with us and going somewhere else for your next vehicle. See, shopping with us is nice and easy going. You come in, meet our friendly salespeople, find the car or truck you're looking for, and get out without losing your hat. Now, shopping at one of them other dealers might go a little something like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't even think about shopping anywhere else. For little bucks on cars and trucks, come see Little Buck and Earl, the affordable permit at Reliance Ford.
Where our cars come from, high gas prices are nothing new. That's why we've always designed cars that are both powerful and efficient, like the 30-mile-per-gallon BMW 328i. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Lease a BMW 328i for $339 a month, now until August 31st.
Back in Bristol, Tennessee, normally in golf you get a mulligan. Not in motorsports, but we're going to get a mulligan here on the green flag because of the 49 car stalling the ignition panel, we're being told. They had a problem with the 49 of John Andretti, and he has gone to pit road where they have the hood up there working on that car. This time, the safety car, the Chevy Pace car with Brett Bodine aboard, will pull away, and a pair of Dodges will come out of turn 4 and lead them down finally for the green flag at Bristol, Tennessee.
Nobody's getting out of shape yet. The track looks good, and Casey Kane's jumped out into a big lead right now, Jerry. He has really cleared Juan Pablo Montoya and has set sail.
That's how fast it happens here in Bristol. 15-second lap speeds at 120 miles per hour, and they are 2 and sometimes 3 wide. As I said, we have never seen that here before.
This is great to see that this racetrack is so racy. We've never seen this. These guys right off the start running 2 wide. Usually they're just fighting for the bottom of the racetrack, just trying to get in single file line and get right on the bottom. But here they're just searching all over.
Guys, every time I've started this race, and if I wasn't on the front row or on the pole position and I'm marked on the outside, I would always have my spotter cutting deals with everybody else. Hey, tell the guy, let me to the bottom. But you don't see any of that right now because these 3 lanes are racing, and these drivers are just loving this stuff right now. No rooting and gouging yet, but trust me, it's going to happen.
Got a glimpse of Jeff Burton. He's one of the drivers that a lot of the experts said you should keep an eye on tonight.
He worked this top groove last night in his Busch car to perfection. He was flying up there, and I'm sure that's what he's going to plan on doing tonight. He's up there now passing around Ricky Rudd here in the 88.
Jeff Burton told a lot of guys, he said, last night I felt like I was at Darlington, South Carolina in turn 3 and 4. We lay the car right against the wall. And he said it's so much fun because you're so maneuverable here. So look for him to run good.
You already see 3 wide racing off that turn 4. Matt Kenseth going around on the outside.
The ticker across the top of your screen, the green shows the drivers who are right now in the chase. The yellow shows those that are on the bubble and are hoping to get in. Remember, only 3 events remaining, 2 tonight, California and Richmond, before the chase to the Nextel Cup actually begins.
The drivers have all told us the car does not handle near as good as last year's car did, the older car. This new car tomorrow's got about half the downforce of the other cars have had, and they just don't grip to the track as good as they used to.
And downforce is not such a big deal at a short track like Bristol, but the car also has a higher center of gravity, so it makes the car want to roll over into turns more, so it does handle a little worse than the old car.
Our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards, now making a move in the 99 car, going by David Reagan at his 4th position. Edwards now in 3rd spot.
Now, if you remember one thing about Carl Edwards, he's been the best all year long in the concrete racetracks. What's the reason? I don't think anybody really knows the reason. Every now and then you come up with a good setup that you like a lot, and Carl seems to do good in these concrete tracks. But even he told us, as he was an in-race reporter earlier, that, hey, he need to get some lap under his belt and find out what it's going to take. But he loves this track so far.
How about this guy right here in this 42 car, running right behind Casey Kane in the 9? We just knew that Juan Pablo Montoya was going to be good on road courses and some other places, but would you think Bristol he would be running 2nd right here early in the race?
A year and a half ago, Juan Pablo Montoya was turning left and right on the world's greatest Formula One circuits all over Europe, and now he's battling NASCAR's finest in a great fashion here on the high banks at Bristol.
Well, guys, Juan Pablo Montoya's been used to driving a car with a rear wing on it, whether it's an Indy car or a Formula One car, and now he's in a stock car with a rear wing. You've got to believe that's working to his advantage. He knows how to manipulate the car and absolutely understand what a wing does.
That's the only thing that's similar to the cars he's been driving. These cars are so much heavier and so much bigger than the cars he's driven, but they do have wings.
Jeff Burton pretending his car has wings on the sides because he is flying up through the field. He made a move a moment ago underneath McMurray. Jamie McMurray in the 26 car. Here comes, speaking of making moves, here is the 5-time winner, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, who is the winningest active driver here, and not far behind him is the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who started back in 17th position.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he needs to make up some points. He's just hoping that Kurt Busch has a bad day, maybe blows in engines or has a big problem, because he needs to catch him. The only way he can catch him if something like that happens. Alan?
It's interesting to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. running on the bottom of the racetrack here early, Rusty, because he and his crew chief worked on their car running the high lane yesterday. Tony Eury Jr. told me this afternoon, expect us to be rim riding all afternoon. Jr. can fly up there, yet he's running low right now.
Great story, Alan. We'll watch that 8 car on the bottom of the racetrack. And as you saw a moment ago on the left side of your screen, the change for second position is Carl Edwards. Looks like a man on a mission. He just slid right underneath the 42 of Montoya.
Now, I see the 8 car Dale Earnhardt Jr. working the bottom, but you see that 4 car Ward Burton move around him. I don't think it'll be long before you'll see that 8 car back up in that top groove.
In the early laps at Bristol Motor Speedway, 500 laps of racing action, only 18 are complete. Ryan Newman, David Reagan, 1 Pablo Montoya, Carl Edwards, and Casey Kane is the guy they're chasing. Casey Kane trying to get win number 1 here in 2007.
Little known fact, once a year, New York is invaded by horses. Thousands of them. And they're as loud as...
Once a year, NASCAR comes to New York to celebrate the season and crown our champion. And we bring about 8,000 horses with us. Thanks, New York City. We'll see you in November.
Let's go! Let's go!
Yo, oye mamita, no me tomes el pelo. Tú con tanta curva, mira yo sin freno. Wiki, wiki.
What? You told me to bring you a wrap with a little spice.
Yeah.
Wrap, not rap.
Oh.
The wrap you're looking for is the new Chipotle Barbecue Snack Wrap. It's the snack wrap you love, but a little spicier, because it has Chipotle barbecue sauce over juicy and tender chicken breast meat.
Rico! Having a half-ton with the most legroom and a fancy rear seat is great, but truckers want to know if it's still got some truck left in it. We'll put it this way. If it'll drawbar pull 6,400 pounds of dead weight, towing 10,100 pounds is a walk in the park. Hello, Dolly. Available on the all-new Tundra Crew Max, the truck that's changing it all.
The ancient Coliseum of Rome, where gladiators battled centuries ago, to the current concrete Coliseum at Bristol Motor Speedway. Glad to have you with us here. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series of Bristol, presented by Pennzoil. Lap 26, Casey Kane's the one they're chasing, and they're starting to mix it up. Back in the pack, heavy traffic here now for the leader early on.
Well, right now, the leader, Casey Kane, he's running down Kenny Wallace and A.J. Allmendinger at the moment right now. And it didn't take long for these guys to really catch everybody out there.
It's almost like a conveyor belt. You see these cars going all the way around the racetrack. They're strung out all the way around so that everybody's in traffic. There's no clean air out here at Bristol.
Generally, you probably saw some caution flags right now. I mean, these guys are all spread out. They're using all the lanes of the racetrack to race on. And I'm really amazed how high on the racetrack already Matt Kenseth is, right behind Jeff Burton. He's running really high every single lap. Jamie?
Rusty, Matt Kenseth's certainly on the move. He started 12th. He's in 9th right now. And you know, anybody that knows about Matt Kenseth, they know he's cool, calm, collected. Well, this racetrack is so intense. His voice just went up about 4 octaves, asking his spotter, please tell me if I'm clear, as he makes the move, guys, running around that top side. It's pretty intense in these opening laps.
You see Jeff Gordon starting to explore the top. Now he goes back down to the bottom. Crew Chief Steve Letarte told me today that Jeff only worked on running the bottom of this racetrack. But if you have a good car, you can run the high line. There he goes again. So that's their mentality here. Bottom very fast for us. We think we can win down there. But if we need to run the high side, if that's working better, we can.
There's a lot
traffic for the leader, the car number 9, pardon me, Rusty, that is Casey Kane. Now, that's how quickly you've been there. You understand what he's looking at right now and the troubles and the concerns he has.
Well, the concerns the rest of them have right now, that the rest of them got to pick up the pace, or else Casey Kane's going to get around outside of them pretty quickly. You don't want to go to a lap down this early.
Well, Casey's got problems of his own. These guys are 2 and 3 wide in front of him. He doesn't have a lane to pass them. He's just going to have to follow until he gets an opening.
You know, we heard Jeff Burton talk earlier about his spotter. He's so dependent on the spotter. The seats in these cars are very, very tough to see out of nowadays. The side supports go down the side of your head. You glance over. On other racetrack, it's okay, but this particular track has got so much banking on the exit of the corner, guys, you can't clear yourself. You're really relying on the spotter to help you.
Let's ride along with our Wrangler telemetry, looking at Casey Kane in front of this 99 car of Carl Edwards. And Edwards now moves to the inside of Kane in traffic.
It's going to take some give and take right here because these guys don't have anywhere to go. Carl's a smart heads-up driver. I'm sure he's not going to force the issue. But he may take an opening if it's there. But these guys got to work past these lap cars before they can actually settle this.
And as you can see right now in our telemetry, only about 8,000 RPMs. They can't take full advantage of what these engines have put out right now because they're in traffic. So they're actually only running part throttle just a little bit. They're wide open for just a short period of time, and then the rest of it's part throttle and keeping the rear tires biting up off the corner doing that. Dave?
Rusty, what a turnaround for Carl Edwards at this racetrack in this race car. Remember in the spring, he came here in the Busch race and won it. Was so confident about that car. He walked away from qualifying in the car of tomorrow. This car shaking his head saying, man, I don't know what the deal is. This is completely the opposite. Last night, trouble in the Busch race. He didn't run well at all. Tonight, the 99 is hooked up, and the car tomorrow is running great today for Carl Edwards.
One thing this is doing here, these lap cars are stacking up these leaders, and you got these other guys. You see Pablo Montoya in the 42 and Ryan Newman in the 12 catching these guys.
Carl Edwards able to use the traffic to go in front of Casey Kane there. They try to lap some of the cars. That is Dale Jarrett, A.J. Allmendinger there, Kenny Wallace in the 45. By the way, Kenny subbing for Kyle Petty, who broke his hand up at Watkins Glen, out missed last week and this week. Juan Pablo Montoya hanging tough there, out in third spot.
Yeah, and I talked to the crew chief, Donnie Wingo, before the race about if he thought Montoya could win tonight, if he had enough experience on these Nextel Cup short tracks to win. He said, yes, he thinks he can win. And he also said one of the biggest reasons that they've all improved together is that the team has made the cars better, echoing comments by Montoya after he qualified second yesterday. Better car, driver with more experience, running well right now.
Well, let me ask you, Rusty, Mr. 9-time Bristol winner, can Juan Pablo Montoya win it here at Bristol?
If he stays patient, Jerry, he can win this race. If he gets too excited too early and overdrives the car, he can put himself in trouble. Because, Andy, these cars don't have a lot of downforce like we talked earlier. And we saw a lot of wrecks last night in the Busch race going into turn 1 and also going into turn 3 where the drivers would actually overdrive the entries and just flat spin the cars out.
You just hit the key word right there, just being patient and just keeping the car clean, bringing it home. That's one thing he's got to do. He's got the skill, he's got the car, he's got now some experience in these cars, so he can win. He just got to get it to the finish, and that's a hard thing to do here at Bristol.
You know, a lot of these drivers that are, you know, kind of lower on experience from the rest of the fellows, and I'm going to throw Juan Pablo Montoya in on that bunch because he's a great driver. We all know that, but not that much experience in a stock car. They love this car tomorrow because they really feel like it equals the playing ground. They've all had the same amount of time in it, and if they're going to strike, they feel like they can get it done now. And Juan Pablo Montoya really enjoyed that win he had out in California on a road course because of that.
He made a smart move right here. He let Ryan Newman go and didn't push the issue. Nobody's going anywhere. All these lap cars have got these leaders kind of seized up, so good smart move.
Brand new concrete, but it's the same old Bristol trying to run high, run low, but they're still running too wide here. Chasing Carl Edwards, Reagan, Montoya, Newman, Casey Kane, and Carl Edwards trying to get his first ever win here on the high banks at Bristol, Tennessee.
Kenny, I need 50 pounds of roast beef.
Sorry, Pat. We're all out.
No, don't give me that. What, did your wife wolf it down for breakfast? That came out wrong. Look, look at me. I mean, we probably weigh this.
The network you can trust, AT&T. Buy any phone and get up to 4 free.
This is Bill. He works for Ford, and he's wrecked more cars than Hollywood.
You ought to see my insurance rates.
I'll take care of the jokes, Bill. Did the Ford F-150 get a 5-star crash rating?
Yep, 5 stars for both driver and front passenger.
What about the other guys?
Some of the others didn't do as well.
Ooh. So I guess sometimes it's better to play it safe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Take the Ford Challenge. Find out why the F-150 is the best choice.
Edwards of Team Dish All-Stars wins again.
Look at the excitement down on the track. Carl's flipping over the great value he gets from Dish Network.
That's right, Jerry. Team Dish All-Stars can't stop celebrating all digital TV for less.
Announcing America's Top 100 from Dish Network. You get over 100 all-digital channels for just $29.99 a month, plus a free DVR or HD DVR upgrade. Call today and get HBO and Cinemax free for 3 months. All digital TV worth celebrating. America's Top 100 from Dish Network. It's about time.
There's a new policy in NASCAR. You break it, you fix it.
So driving for the Home Depot, naturally, I like to help. Hey, Denny, fix that fence with 6-gauge galvanized chain link. 6-gauge what? 2 gallons of Cascade White for that wall, Bobby. Exterior enamel. I gotta paint this? Tony! Fill those tracks in with topsoil, man. Good work, guys. Who's planting the Bermuda grass this time? Woo!
Every lap, every driver, all on your computer. The all-new Track Pass race view only on NASCAR.com. It's crunch time. Go to NASCAR.com to watch live Nextel Cup racing from Bristol.
I'm Steve Bunin with the SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. The Atlanta Falcons have decided they will go after Michael Vick's $22 million signing bonus, as he is in violation of his contract as a suspended player in the NFL. Heroics at the Little League World Series, a walk-off grand slam to send Japan to the championship over Curacao. They will play the American representatives from Georgia, who advanced, defeating Texas. The game tomorrow on ABC. Next SportsCenter, 11:30 Eastern.
We welcome you back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Early on, just 56 of 500 laps are complete. And take a look at our Ford lap leaders. Casey King led the first 36 laps from the pole. And now Carl Edwards is taking the lead and has led the last 20 in a row, with Casey Kane just chomping at the bit right behind him.
Yeah, guys, take a look at it. Jeff Gordon, he's on the move right now. He is right up on the rear bumper of Montoya. He caught him, backed off a little bit, and back up on him. He's got a good line out there right now. He's running fast speeds also.
His car's working good on the bottom of the racetrack, and it looks to me like the guys that have their cars working good on the bottom are able to make the passes. These guys that are running up top don't seem like they can, it's like everybody's up top now. It used to be everybody on the bottom, now everybody's up top.
Battle for second position. The 12 car of Ryan Newman now pulls in, and the 99 car is stuck in traffic behind Paul Menard, the 15.
Seems like when they get up on each other's bumpers, they just can't go because their cars won't handle. They try to move to the top lane or the bottom, choose a different lane. It's not working for them. And you can also tell the guys up front that are about to get a lap down are really up in the wheel right now.
Paul Menard and Jeff Green have been running side by side for probably 15 or 20 laps.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's run one of the fastest laps of the race so far. He's has a real fast car right now. And all he's thinking, guys, I got to get in that top 12 in the chase for the championship. And again, like I said earlier in the show, he's just hoping Kurt Busch has a problem.
Alan, you got more on the 8th?
Well, we're seeing Dale Jr. ride the bottom lane after the team talked about how much they worked in the top lane and that that's where Jr. was going to run all night. So I just climbed up on the pit box and said to crew chief Tony Ewing Jr., why is he running the bottom? He laughed, he shrugged his shoulders, said, I don't know, but it's working.
Well, one way to look at that, it's the fastest way around the racetrack, the shortest distance around the track, and if he can make it work down there, hey, why not do it?
There goes the 24 car of Jeff Gordon by the 42 of Montoya. That's for position. That's for 4th spot. By the way, Gordon again started back in 18th position and has now come all the way to 4th in the first 63 laps.
You have to wonder just how long that these leaders are going to be patient with these lap cars. As long as they've been hung in behind them, it's not going to be long before they start using that front bumper.
And one big difference we saw, Andy, is that the front bumper on the car tomorrow matches up perfectly with the rear bumper on the other car. So before, you used to drive up underneath and hit them, and it would lift the back of the car up. Now it's just like a direct blow. The car just shoots forward.
I think we're getting ready to see just how good it works.
And you would have loved that, I'm sure, Rusty, because you didn't bump anybody at Bristol during your 9 victories.
Oh, trust me. I got the bump and run put on me, Jerry, a couple times, which lost me a couple of victories, that's for sure. And every now and then I feel like I owe that 24 car for doing that to me, but...
Leaders are being held up. Now take a look at our sprint speed lap, and we're going to show you what's happening with the leaders up there by lap traffic holding them up and actually slowing them down. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last lap, 111 point. Look at, he's almost 3 miles an hour faster than the leaders because the leaders are stuck behind lap cars. Now they're finally trying to get by Paul Menard in the 15 and Jeff Green in the 66.
Yeah, and Paul Menard's not going to have none of that, though. He doesn't want to go a lap down, and right now he's doing a pretty good job, but it looks like he just got put a lap down by Casey Kane, and now he's just got to hold on and go for the lucky dog.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. knows the pressure is on. He's 163 points out of 12th. He's got 3 races to get there. He has not finished out of the top 11 here at Bristol, Tennessee in the last 4 events. He needs a top 10 or better here tonight. And folks, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon are coming. They're 4th and 5th after 68 laps.
The Infinity M at your fingertips. ClearLakeInfinity.com. It's where Infinity buyers go first. Get the award-winning Infinity M Sport Sedan with a great selection available. ClearLakeInfinity.com is the fastest way to find the exact new Infinity M you want in just minutes. And now, Clear Lake Infinity has special limited time offers. Log on and come experience the Clear Lake Infinity difference today.
Hello? Hey, it's Roger again. This time I'm calling you on my new Comcast digital voice home phone service.
Told you last time, tattoos are permanent.
I know what you said before, but I was talking on my old phone service.
So?
Now I'm talking to you on my new Comcast service.
Sorry, Roger, you're Tiger now.
Sorry? I have Comcast digital voice.
Your phone calls won't change. They'll just cost less. Affordable and reliable Comcast digital voice. It's Comcastic.
Headlines.
Hold it.
Beyond the highlights.
There may be an asterisk right next to Barry Bonds.
Beneath the surface.
Which of these guns would an athlete be drawn to?
Outside the Lines, hosted by Bob Lee. Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on ESPN.
Start your run to fantasy glory with ESPN Fantasy Football's draft application. Practice your strategy with mock drafts. Then build your Hall of Fame squad in a fully loaded live draft. All for free. Sign up today at ESPN.com.
All across America, they're getting ready. It's the Captain Morgan Ultimate Pose-Off. Enter, and you can win an ultimate high roller weekend in Vegas. Go to CaptainMorgan.com to enter.
Drink responsibly.
You know, taking risks is part of racing. But when it comes to running my business, I never risk it, and neither should you. Rely on Office Depot for everything from office supplies to office furniture to the latest technology like laptops and software. Everything your business needs. So race into Office Depot today. Oh, that would have been bad.
Office Depot, proud sponsor of NASCAR, Carl Edwards, and the number 99 Roush Fenway Racing Team.
We welcome you back to Bristol, Tennessee. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series action presented by Pennzoil. 78 of 500 laps complete, and congestion all around this racetrack, but the 8 car is on the move and trying to pick off the 12 car of Ryan Newman. That would be for second position.
Guys, the 8 car's got a solid car. At every single lap, it seems like he's the fastest car on the racetrack. And again, he's got to get it done tonight. This is very important for him. He can't be driving easy. He's got to hammer down and get all he can get because he's running out of time to make that chase.
And he's now in this mix here. You see Ryan Newman in the 12 car. He's been working underneath Paul Menard in this 15 car for I don't know how many laps now, 15 or 20 laps. I'm not sure that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be able to get clear of these guys, even though his car's faster.
I don't know if I've ever seen a race here at Bristol run this long early in the event with no problems whatsoever.
I was getting ready to say, I don't think I've ever seen us go 81 laps without someone running in or running over someone or someone getting out and throwing something at someone. This is not typical Bristol, but great 2 and 3 wide racing, allowing you to pass in heavy traffic.
You know, it's a first for everything, Jerry, and this is the first time these cars have been on this racetrack at night. They've all done all their practice and qualifying and practice, but never have they been under night conditions, so they don't know what their cars are going to handle like yet.
Battle for 4th position. Carl Edwards trying to go back around the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Speaking of the 24, Dave.
And, Doc, it is a little confusing to the drivers right now, too, with all this lap traffic and all this green flag racing. In fact, Jeff Gordon radioed in a few laps ago, hey, who am I racing? Now, he knows he's racing the 99, but earlier he was locked in a battle in traffic, and it was hard to tell what cars were lead lap, because there were some really good cars already a lap down.
You know, these long runs got to be getting hard on the drivers, too, because, you know, the longer you run, the driver starts wearing out. And you saw earlier in our countdown show, these drivers are pulling about 3.5 Gs out there. So if they stay running without a break, it's going to be wearing some drivers out.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that as the race wears on. If it keeps having these long green runs, these guys are really, their tongues are going to be hanging out pretty good.
Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 car, who faded after starting second, faded to about 10th position, has now been able to climb back up, and gets back in, just bobbles a little bit, trying to get the car low down, not running to the back of the 99, but he's back all the way up to 6th spot.
Well, that 99 car did a good job holding on to that thing just then. He about lost it at the start-finish line. It was sliding all over. You know, I'm starting to see a lot of drivers now losing grip and starting at the bottom and going clear to the top. Earlier, we saw Tony Stewart get loose, and now the 99, Carl Edwards. So I believe his tires are starting to get wore out. Let's take a look at his replay of Carl Edwards, see what happened to him just a little while ago. He's coming off of turn 4. Juan Pablo gets right in his right rear quarter panel, gets him fishtailing back and forth going into turn 1, and he gathers it back up.
The 1 car of Martin Truex is right now being shown in 7th position. He has a lot to be concerned about over these next 3 races. Mike?
And that's right, Doc, because they're pretty much on the bubble, 11th in the standings. But I spoke with Kevin Mannion this morning, and he said the last thing they need to do is be conservative. He said they need to go for the wins, and if they didn't, that's when they get themselves in trouble. As for starting 25th today, he was not concerned at all, and I'll tell you why. He said he did a little bit of spying this afternoon. He looked at some of the competitors he had to beat on the racetrack and thought that some of his competition was just using too much rear spring. As he assessed his competition, he felt like some of the guys starting in front of them would be a little bit loose and they would be easy pickings. Maybe that's the case. He's moved from 25th all the way up to 7th. What do you think, Andy? How much spying did you do on the competitors during race weekend?
Mike, I did a lot of that. I would walk around and look at these guys' cars, and you can tell a lot by just looking at the springs. You can tell if they're stiff or soft just by the diameter of the wire. See these guys racing right here. And this 1 car, his car is working really good on the bottom of the racetrack. Look here, coming in the picture, Kurt Busch in this 2 car. This is a guy that's been on fire the last few weeks, and he knows a few things about this track.
Well, right now he's in the 10th position. He's staying real patient. He knows he's got a pretty good lead when it comes to the points. He's got 163 points on Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming into this event, so he can afford to drive a little cautious. Now, Dale Jr. can't afford that at all.
Kurt Busch broke a 52-race winless streak back at Pocono, and then he won 2 weeks later, so he's won 2 of the last 3. Solidly in 12th position, trying to get his 6th win. He is a 5-time winner here at Bristol, Tennessee, although last year in the August race, he had an abysmal night and came home in 37th position. The chase of Casey King continues at lap 94.
OnStar, how can I help you?
Can you run a quick diagnostic check for me?
No problem, Mr. Gordon.
Transmission?
Check.
Emissions?
Check.
Airbag system?
Check.
Car wash?
2 blocks up on your left-hand side.
Nice.
GM OnStar, how can I help you, Mrs. Johnson?
Looks like we need directions to the nearest movie theater.
Sending turn-by-turn directions now.
You don't have to be a star to get the OnStar treatment.
OnStar, active.
Available on 16 Chevy models.
Ode to the Subway Club. Roast beef, ham, turkey. A big meaty sub is plotting a course through hungry seas, and your appetite just showed up on sonar. Boom. Subway, eat fresh.
A method doctors use to remove warts at the office is also available at home. Dr. Scholl's Freeze Away Wart Remover. Just press and freeze. It works fast in as little as one treatment.
See, that was easy.
Remove warts fast with Freeze Away from Dr. Scholl's.
You know, FedEx really helped us with our overnight shipping, even heavy stuff. Now I've added FedEx Ground for everyday shipping.
FedEx is saving us a ton of time. So why aren't we getting more done?
Maybe we should get rid of the half pipe.
No, the half pipe stays.
Gotta keep the half pipe.
FedEx Ground. Fast, reliable, and for less than you think.
I'm comfortable going fast. I'm comfortable in Wrangler.
Introducing Relaxed Straight Leg and Relaxed Boot Fit from Wrangler Jeans Company. Wrangler Jeans Company. New fits, new styles, great comfort.
Hi, I'm Dillon Hart Jr. Test drive a pair of Wrangler jeans and you could win your own test drive around the racetrack with me. But I'm doing the driving. Go to Wrangler.com to find out how to enter. Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler.
Prepare for a NASCAR experience like never before. Every lap, every driver, all on your computer. Now you're in control. Who will you listen to?
All clear. Nice job, buddy.
Who will you follow? What view will you choose? The all-new Track Pass Race View. Available now only at the new NASCAR.com. It's crunch time. Go to NASCAR.com to watch live Nextel Cup racing from Bristol.
Back at Bristol, Tennessee, laps continuing to click away. We amazingly are caution-free. Now, probably I'm going to regret I said that. We have gone 104 laps without a single caution flag. Very atypical for what is usually a Saturday night slugfest here on the high banks at Bristol. Now, moments ago, we nearly got some trouble because J.J. Yaley was trying to stay in front of a couple of cars, including this car, the AT&T Chevrolet of Jeff Burton. Take a look.
And, boy, this is not where you want to be 3 wide. He got in the right rear of Burton and then Dale Jarrett. Everybody slides back and forth. No harm, no foul. Everybody's okay, but probably took everybody's breath on that one.
That was a close call right there.
You know, one thing I'm seeing right now, guys, everybody in the racetrack looks really loose to me. And last night in our Busch race, the same thing happened. Hardly anybody got tight. And, Brad, I'm just noticing all these loose cars.
Yeah, you know what, Rusty? Andy and I spent a lot of time with Rick Campbell yesterday. He's team leader for NASCAR Product Development with Goodyear. And we talked about these tires and how hard the right side tires are. But what happened is the Cup race, the Cup test got rained out. So the Busch and Truck guys got a lot of practice on these tires. So these are the tires that the Busch and Truck guys use. And it's a very hard, conservative tire. And there's been a little bit of complaints about that.
We want to mention the 31 car does not have sponsor logos on it because this past week the U.S. 11th Circuit Court of Appeals overturned the injunction that had been placed that had allowed the AT&T logo on the car. And that now being overturned means that that logo has to disappear from the car. It was not grandfathered in. NASCAR has approved the paint schemes that they were bringing to the racetrack, and so Richard Childress Racing opted to bring this scheme with no logos on it to the racetrack here tonight. Alan?
And Doc, let's talk about the 31 car on the racetrack now. We saw him moving up early in the race. Now we see him slipping back with a loose condition, no rear grip on the car. Something else new about this racetrack. This is the longest any of these drivers have ever run in consecutive laps. Most of the time when they practice, they put 10, 15, maybe the most 25 laps on a set of tires before they come in and try something else. Now they've run 100 laps on this configuration of racetrack for the first time. And some of them find out they don't like the way their car handles over that long a period of time.
Back toward the front, the one car beginning to move. We saw him move late last week at Michigan to pull off a great second-place finish. And Martin Truex once again now closing in on the 24 car for third position.
Here's our battle for the lead with Casey Kane.
Okay, Casey Kane and Newman, they've been going back and forth lap after lap, and Newman almost got Kane in the left rear quarter point on that last lap and almost got him sideways. You see, he took a shot down into turn 1 and wisely got out of the throttle and let him breathe a little bit.
They've both been real patient with each other around these lap cars, and when they get a little bit open track, it looks like they try to just see what each other has.
It's sort of deja vu a little bit. Last night in the NASCAR Busch Series race, the 9 and 12 were got together in the final couple laps, and it ended up that Ryan Newman ended up cutting a tire. He was the leader, and Kane was trying to get past.
Looks like a rematch right here.
You know, going back to what Brad Daugherty said a little while ago about these tires, you know, I got to believe that after this race is over, Goodyear will come back and soften these tires up. They a little more conservative than they probably ought to be. And take a look at Kurt Busch working the outside of the 01 car.
He's already moved by the 99 of Carl Edwards. See that 11 car coming into the picture here too, Denny Hamlin.
What about the 43 car of Bobby Labonte, who started way back in the pack, driving for the King, Richard Petty? Started 22nd, and Bobby has driven this car through traffic all the way up to 7th position.
And Jerry, this is Bobby Labonte's style of race. He's being patient, and that's what you need right here is patience. Brad, you got to believe that these guys are thinking about patience.
Oh, absolutely, Rusty. And go back to your point, Rick Campbell was telling me these Goodyear tires, they're looking at this as almost a big test tonight to figure out what they need to bring back. So I'm sure when they come back next time, we'll see a little stickier tire on that right side, be a little bit better racing. But right now, this isn't too bad.
No, they got good racing going on right now. But hey, you know what, Brad? We're not in the driver's seat, and I know they're sliding all over the place, and they're hoping for cautions because, Andy, you're calculating right now how much farther you think these guys can go on fuel.
I think we're going to see them in here in the next 10 or 12 laps. They've gone green. They can go about 130 laps, and they had to run quite a few of these pace laps getting started. So I think they're due in here, and that's something we haven't seen in a while is green flag stops at Bristol.
The 11 car of Denny Hamlin, although he qualified back in the 37th position, he started shotgun because they had an engine change. He started 43rd, so the 11 car has come from 43rd all the way up to 8th position. Mike.
And that team really wasn't all that concerned this morning when I spoke with Mike Ford, Doc. They really were looking at this racetrack, basically studying what they saw in the Busch race. And Mike Ford said that he saw a lot of Darlington in this new Bristol, and because of that applied some of the principles to the race car today. Really, Denny hasn't said much. A little bit loose between 1 and 2, but otherwise real happy.
Side-by-side action, and Bobby Labonte just gets nudging ahead of the 42 car. That is for the 6th position.
So you take a look at Denny Hamlin. He grew up in the short tracks. He's ran every bull ring in the Southeast. And if he's ever going to run good at a racetrack, these short tracks at Bristol's are really right up his alley.
Pit stops beginning under the green flag. They got to get down to 30 miles an hour. The 22 car of Dave Blaney. Very unique here pitting under the green at Bristol, Tennessee.
At Bristol, Tennessee, you're allowed to pit on your prospective pit road. You don't have to go all around. You don't have to enter in turn 2 and drive all the way around. If you're pitted on the front straightaway, you can enter off of turn 4. And now if you're pitting on the back straightaway, you can enter off of turn 2.
And if you are under caution, you have to come in off of turn 2 and come all the way around. The 70 car has slowed, and cars are trying to get around him, and now the caution will fly for the first time tonight.
Johnny, come on around, pit when you can. As soon as the pit's open, come on in. We'll change right sides, guys, get it back to road.
Johnny Sauter's car slowing up high on the racetrack has had some contact.
Come on.
We almost had one of the biggest crashes of the day. Casey Kane.
It hit pretty damn hard. Steering wheel's really screwed up.
Take a look at Casey Kane. A big run coming off of turn 2. Wide open. Doesn't see the 70 slowed down. He tucks down to the bottom. Barely clears him. I'm telling you what, Andy, we almost had a big one right there.
That was real close. We saw a crash in practice with the Busch cars that was similar to that, where one of the cars was spun, stopped over there, and Reed Sorensen piled right into him. We almost saw the same thing.
And that's one of the problems you have with the high banking. They've carried the banking way far off the corner so these guys can drive better.
This is a bad break for the 22 car, Dave Blaney. He pitted under green. Now this caution comes out. It's going to really be costly for him. And Ward Burton, we saw coming down pit road right as the caution came out.
Now remember the pit procedure under caution. They all have to come on the pit road off of turn 2 and come all the way around at 30 miles an hour.
It just effectively makes it one pit road. You see these guys coming in on the back stretch. A lot of these guys are going to be pitting on the front stretch. And NASCAR just makes this act like one big long pit road by doing it this way. Jamie?
And patience has paid off for Bobby Labonte, guys. He's been here 29 times, and it's showing. He's gained 16 positions in that long stint. He just threw his air bottle out and made a track bar adjustment around a wedge stretch. He said he's just a little tight. Alan?
Dale Jr. described his car when the caution came out to his crew chief as neutral. That's good. It should be. He ran all the way up into the top 5. He was 5th at the time of the caution.
When the caution flag flew, the one team pumped their fist. They did not want to have to stop under green. They got their wish. 4 tires the call. A slight chassis adjustment for Martin Truex Jr., who has stormed all the way from the 25th starting position all the way into the top 3. Dave?
Mike, leader Casey Kane says, my car's loose, but I like it. 4 tires, no changes on the 9 car. Completing the left side now, trying to win the race off pit road. He will do it easily.
First pit stops of the day under the caution, the first caution of the afternoon, and off of pit road at 30 miles per hour. Casey Kane says, I'm loose, but I like it.
He's loose and he's like it. He's been leading that race, and Casey's the type of fella that always likes to run that top lane, and he was doing that. And a little while ago, Andy, that almost bit him because I thought he was going to knock the back off that 70 car. But talk about perfect timing right now for the caution flag. These guys are just about to have to come down under green to do this.
Caution break. Caution number 1 coming out on lap 125. Johnny Sauter's car having his troubles. When we come back, Casey Kane will lead him down to the green once again.
The Little League World Series championship coverage continues on ABC.
Casey Kane. Where? Casey! There he is. There he is.
Even the best drivers could use accident forgiveness. Part of your choice auto insurance. Only from Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Hey, is there anything we could do to help? Anything.
Hello. I'm Alex Keith, president of Old Spice Marketing. To promote the new Old Spice Collectors series, we pioneered a unique media opportunity. Tony Stewart's armpits.
I think it's really good. This is the same car that you wanted.
Vino calda da teta, una gran testa fa memorar. Se trovi in piazza qualche ragazza, vengo con quella, cerca menar. Vengo con quella, cerca menar, cerca menar.
The Trio refrigerator from Kenmore has a place for everything, even berries. So now everything's easy to find. Kenmore, it's that simple.
Poker's brightest stars and biggest dreamers walk the line between skill and luck. The World Series of Poker main event, Tuesdays at 8 on ESPN.
Haviland with Deposit Shield. The deposits that attack your engine can cause friction, robbing it of performance and fuel efficiency. Defend your engine. Haviland with Deposit Shield.
Introducing an automotive breakthrough. ZNet, only at AutoZone. Now AutoZoners have the power to find you the right part faster with diagrams, photos, and instructions. So you'll get the job done right the first time, every time. ZNet, only at AutoZone.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. What a weekend for Casey Kane in the 9 car. Won the Busch race last night with an amazing pass and takes the pole for the Cup race tonight. Well, let's check out our Allstate Good Hands move of the race on behalf of Casey Kane. Allstate will donate $1,000 to the Urban Youth Racing School, and this was unbelievable. Johnny Slaughter had slowed. Casey Kane comes around and just barely gets around the grab.
That is unbelievable. You tell me these guys are the greatest race car drivers in the world, and I'll eat your hat. That was unbelievable. Great reaction.
Doc, incredible that we've only had 1 caution tonight and no wrecks.
I've seen Brady eat a lot of things, but never a hat. But anyway, the way I see him eat, he can eat anything. I've got to believe that. So we're getting set for the restart at Bristol, Tennessee, as they are going to bring the pace car back on the racetrack and now pull them off. They're trying to get everyone lined up. Just joined our coverage. 1 caution flag coming out of lap 125. The one car, Martin Truex Jr., has had to come back on the pit road a moment ago. Mike?
And that's because they failed to tighten all the lug nuts on the left rear dock, and they'll pay their penalty. Kevin Mannion, none too happy either, came over the radio and basically reprimanded his team, then climbed down off the pit box and got in the face of one of his tire changers, but really was trying to pick them up on the radio afterwards, especially Martin, telling him that we're only about 133 laps into this race, a lot of racing to go, and reminding him that he has a very good race car.
And that will currently slide Martin Truex back into 12th spot in the points and move the 2 car in front of him in 11th position. Our Chevy pace car camera looking at the back of that Chevy Impala that Brett Bodine is driving. See him coming off the banking. And the cars go by. Here's Casey Kane and the 43 car of Bobby Labonte in chase in second place. Bobby Labonte wants to lead here and will dive into turn 3 and try to take it away.
Bobby Labonte gets a good run on the bottom of the racetrack. He's got fresh tires now in the shortest way around the tracks, dead on the bottom. But Kane's not going to give up that top groove. He's known for running the top groove everywhere he goes, and there's a lot of momentum up there.
Just seems like that top groove is the preferred line. And if somebody's got a real good handling car like we've seen this 43 and the 24 car, Jeff Gordon, right on the bottom, they've made some passes down there, but the preferred groove seems to be up top.
We saw last night in the Busch race, these guys would go really fast for about 15 to 20 laps on these new tires, and then they would kind of level out, and it was hard for people to pass. So if they're going to strike, and if they're going to get some positions, they got to do it early.
Battle for second place. Jeff Gordon showing a lot of muscle there after that pit stop. Pulls to the inside. He really drives it into turn 3.
He's had the best handling car on the bottom of the racetrack I've seen all night. He makes that pass on Bobby Labonte look easy.
Jamie, you got more in the 43?
Guys, they had a great stop for Bobby Labonte. 4 tires. He was just a bit tight, but what's great about this team right now is they have new chemistry. There's a new crew chief, Doug Randolph. This is just their second race together, just 4 days ago or 5 days ago now in Michigan. They had a top 10 finish. I asked Doug about being here tonight. He said, this is my first ever car tomorrow race that I'm crew chiefing, and guys, obviously, so far, so good.
The 8 car, Jamie, now been trying to move in on Bobby Labonte. Others, that's the 12 car he's trying to get by Ryan Newman. That is 4th position. That's for 4th spot.
You see this upper lane really is paying off for Ryan Newman. Junior not quite able to get clear.
And Kurt Busch working the bottom lane also. He's got a good handling car. And Juan Montoya, you know, he's used to bigger racetracks, faster cars, but he's took a liking to this Bristol Motor Speedway, this new design. He's kept the fenders clean on that 42 Haviland Dodge. He's looking good out there right now, guys.
Yeah, they're racing for 8th, 9th, and 10th here. You see him racing around Kenny Wallace, a lap car in the 45.
17 car of Matt Kenseth, who won last August and won the August before. He's awfully good here on the night races in Bristol under the lights. More on Juan Pablo. Let's check in with Alan Bester.
Yeah, just following up on what Rusty was saying about him just a minute ago, I talked to Juan Pablo just before the race during driver introductions, and keeping those fenders clean was one of his goals tonight. He wanted to stay out of trouble, get to the end of the race, and then see what they had to go race with.
Alan, really good point there, because a lot of drivers you talk to tell you, hey, what's the key to winning here at Bristol? You can't win the race unless you got really good fenders and you're creating good downforce on these cars. If you get rooting and gouging and banging and tearing the front of the car up, you're not going to run fast and you can't win.
We've already heard Juan Pablo Montoya tell his spotter about 100 laps ago when he let the 12 car Ryan Newman go by. Says too early to race him here. A lot of maturity for a driver here, and he wouldn't have done that early in the year.
He's definitely matured in these cars and learned a lot about stock car racing. But one thing I see here is almost all these guys seem to have that mentality tonight. They're just trying to keep their cars clean. We see these cars with less damage than we've ever seen them at 150 laps in. These guys just still racing side by side and giving each other plenty of room.
84, A.J. Allmendinger, the former open wheel ace, and a little contact here with the 25 car.
Oh, that's a little uncalled for in the middle of back straightaway. I don't know what that was all about, but he got down in the bottom part of the racetrack and almost got up into Kurt Busch there, it looks like, but everything's okay with him right now.
Looks like a typical Bristol tempers to me.
It sure does. Hey, you know, one thing I should talk about, guys, the racetrack, it looks white. It is concrete, but below that, you would think that's asphalt, that black color. They've actually took that concrete and dyed it black. That's black concrete. It's not asphalt. And the drivers used to get down on that asphalt and slide all over the place. So you got to hand it to Bruton Smith and Jeff Bird and all the guys here at Bristol to do that, because there's more grip that way. And, hey, it looks the same.
Casey Kane has led twice for 121 laps. So let's take a look at our AT&T Crew Chief Challenge. Now, who has the best chance to win his first NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race of the season? Is it 1, Greg Biffle, 2, Clint Moyer, 3, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 4, Casey Kane? Text the word crew to 191 on your wireless phone and send in your answer. The results will be shown later in the race here tonight.
I'm all yours. Lewis Jewelers has an extensive collection of designer jewelry in sterling silver and 18-karat gold, with several colors of gemstones from blue topaz to chocolate diamonds. Indulge yourself and find that perfect piece to make truly yours.
We pride ourselves in the quality of jewelry we offer and the superior assistance each customer receives.
If you adore it, Lewis Jewelers must have it.
A lot of car companies rigorously inspect their pre-owned vehicles. But no matter how hard they look, the one thing they'll never find is this. Drive with your heart. Buy with your head. Certified pre-owned by BMW. Only at your authorized BMW center.
Cards are made for barbecues. Mine is made for speed. Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's my backyard. Uh-oh, the Beast is back.
NASCAR's best and the Beast return for the Bank of America 500 October 13th at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Get your tickets now for the only Saturday night race in the chase, and no car is safe.
It's always something in Charlotte.
Lettuce, cheese, juicy all-white meat chicken, and a flour tortilla. Wrapped up with tangy Chipotle barbecue sauce. That's a snack you'll get a kick out of. That's what we're made of.
Truck guys will tell you, taking off from a dead stop with 10,000 pounds ain't no picnic. So this half-ton's got massive torque, 6-speed tranny with tow haul mode, and 4 oversized disc brakes. Because stopping 10,000 pounds ain't no picnic either. Available on the full-size Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
We need more customers. So, what? Advertise?
Ask the ad guru. Yellowbook.com. Customers know what they want, not always where to find it.
Excellent. Yellow Book.
Business is off the charts. Wherever you look, Yellow Book.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at Bristol, presented by Pennzoil. Our aerial coverage high atop this concrete coliseum brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. Casey Kane has now led twice for 133 laps. He had led just 66 laps in the first 23 races this year. He has led twice that many here tonight.
Well, one guy out there, Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, he's starting to have problems now. He's slowing. It looks like his engine's down in 7 cylinders. Says a battery, but Andy, I thought he just saw some smoke come out of that car.
I think they're just being optimistic. They're looking for an electrical problem. It looks like he may have a problem with the engine because it's definitely not running on the straightaway. And we did see some smoke right there.
Remember, they changed the engine in this car before the race, so he had to go all the way to 43rd spot and came all the way to 5th. Now, Mike?
And some alarming radio traffic, Doc. Just a moment ago, Denny Hamlin came over the radio and said, I think we're blowing up. Mike Ford told him to switch boxes. He did, and it did not cure the problem. So obviously, the 11 team up on the wall, ready for that car to come down pit road sometime soon.
Well, there's nothing good about having an engine problem, but the only thing good, he is locked in to chase for the championship right now. So even if he goes out, he's in. And there's a lot of guys out there can't say that.
You'll hear us say this time and time again tonight. The leader is in traffic once again. Casey Kane 3 wide above the 22. Now thinks better of it and falls back in behind the 22 of Dave Blaney. Now Jeff Gordon has had his hands full early on tonight, but his car running real well. Now let's listen in to what he and his crew chief had to say here a moment ago.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. It's going to be a hard one to fix, so I'm going to take some smaller swings at it because we are good, but we need to be better.
I'm just curious to see what it does here because I was dead sideways at the start of this race.
Yeah, just let me know what it does.
You're gonna know as soon as I do.
All right, for more information on Team Chatter, log on to ESPN.com. Search word communications. Dave?
And so far, no comment back to his crew about those changes, Doc. It's one of two things. Either the car is working very well, or probably Jeff is waiting to see what it does when the tires are old, worn out. Did that chassis setup do what it wants to do on old, worn out stuff? But they're having a lot of fun down in that pit tonight. Steve Letarte talking to me earlier today said, we're going to try some stuff. Hey, if I get off sequence with everybody else, that's fine with me because I'm not here to do anything but win.
Well, right now, it sounds like he started the race loose, and he's been driving that car loose the whole race, and he's probably about sick and tired of it. If he gets it tighter, maybe he can run a little faster.
Well, that's what he's talking about there. He said, you know, keep me abreast of what's going on here because this thing really started out loose, and that's a real key thing there with those the driver talking to the crew chief, telling him what it's doing so he can make those changes and then anticipate maybe what the track's going to do later.
Let's watch the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. moment ago. It looked like he almost backed out a moment and let some cars go by. Now he has come back in the throttle and pulled right up on the rear of the 12 car for Ryan Newman.
You know, he's really driving smart. I got to hand it to Ryan Newman today. He's got a smart race going on. He's not really challenging too hard. And tore his car up last night. He got deep in the race, only a couple laps to go, and got a little aggressive and wasn't able to finish his race. And I got to believe that's on his mind now.
Now, both of these guys, the 12 car and the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., are both outside looking in on this chase. They know they have to finish this race. They can't roll the dice like you see Denny Hamlin, Jeff Gordon, and these guys that are locked into the chase. They have to finish races. They've got to have to have a solid finish to stay in contention.
Remember, coming into tonight, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was 13th in points, and Ryan Newman was 14th, just 8 points behind, and these guys can ill afford any kind of contact with anyone.
Well, the guy I'm looking at right now is a 1-car Martin Truex. He's went from dead last year after that loose lug nut, that penalty where he had to start in the back. He's worked himself all the way up to 20th, and hey, he's one of the guys right now who's locked into the chase for the, not locked in, but he's locked in with the 12th position, and he's only, well, he doesn't have too big a jump on him when it comes to the points, but you know, where I was going with that story a little while ago is that his crew chief really calmed him down. He was all upset about those loose lug nuts, got him calmed down. Now he's driving that thing up to the front, and now he's just moved into the 19th position.
The pressure's really on this one team because they are the ones right now in the 12th spot. Everybody's shooting for that 12th spot or higher to try to get into this chase, so pressure's definitely on the one team.
And you know, crew chiefs not only have to make the calls in terms of chassis, you got to be part-time psychiatrists, these guys. You got to get inside that helmet and make sure they understand what the big picture is about.
There's more of that than you think, Doc.
And you're going to have to give me a calculator to figure out these point standings because they're changing with every pass out there.
177 laps, and Casey Kane, who won the NASCAR Busch race last night, having his way here early on in the Cup event.
Maybe Team Tylenol's so fast because they use rocket boosters.
Yeah, a plutonium.
Or a time machine.
Guys, I think it has something to do with rapid release.
It's rapid release, Elliot.
Oh.
Come on, guys. We've got to figure out Team Tylenol's secret.
Let's have our fans help us out with this.
Join the Underground Alliance and start your investigation today at StopTeamTylenol.com. You could win a trip to Daytona.
Behold the wonder of it. Its wide mouth allowing it to flow cold and unrestrained, all that is parched. It is awe-inspiring, is it not? You really love this river.
River? No. I'm talking about this Coors Light wide mouth can.
The wide mouth can, a wide opening for wide open refreshment, only from Frost Brewed Coors Light.
People will travel great distances to enjoy this. You can get these wide mouth cans anywhere. Talking about the river.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Single again. Will I still look eligible with gray hair? Is that all people will see? How do you make a clean break? Just
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy with 5-minute target gray technology.
Dating again is easier than I thought. And you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
New, smooth, long-lasting Extra Supermint. Long-lasting.
How many men you killed? How many families you destroyed?
Quite a few. On September 7th, an outlaw captured
The railroad intends put him on the 310 to Yuma and hang him.
a deputy chosen.
I don't like the idea of men like you on the loose.
A race against time.
You ain't gonna make it.
From the director of Walk the Line, Russell Crowe, Christian Bale.
This town's gonna burn!
I'm getting you on that train. 310 to Yuma. Rated R. In theaters September 7th.
Let's take a look at our Crown Royal crowning moment. Last night, NASCAR Busch Series action, late laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. 8 laps to go. The 12 car of Newman was the leader. Here comes the 9 of Casey Kane. There's contact. They squeeze Newman between Kane and Jason Leffler. Final lap coming out of turn 4. Kane takes the win, and there's Toyota tag behind him. Leffler gets tagged from behind. He finishes second, and David Rudeman a great run in third spot.
Jamie McMurray and his 26 car is really fighting to stay on the lead lap here with Casey Kane working the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to get by and can't quite get him cleared.
Well, McMurray, he's at the tail end of the lead lap right now. If the 9 gets past him, you know, he's going to be the first guy to get the lucky dog.
Fellas, remember these guys, Kevin Harvick and Juan Pablo Montoya from Watkins Glen. Dare say they're not the best of friends as of yet. And watch them side by side here at Bristol. Oh, a little squeeze there.
Oh, and Kevin stays in the throttle, gets him in the left rear quarter panel and says, take that. See you later, dude.
Watkins Glen, 2 races ago. It was coming down to the final laps here, going into turn 1, and there was contact.
Oh, yeah, and Kevin Harvick, he was so mad at Juan Pablo Montoya, but Montoya really couldn't do nothing about it. He gets hit hard right there. He got loose getting into one, took Kevin with him, and boy, there was no love lost between these 2 guys right here. Pushing and shoving, slapping each other, and name calling, and come get me, dude. I'm not backing down.
And again, side by side out on the racetrack. Harvick in the 29 car on the bottom. Montoya, the 42 up high as they battle for the 10th position. And Harvick had it. Montoya takes it back.
It's like 2 guys. Neither one of them want to give any ground. These guys have been racing each other really hard. Alan?
Well, I'll hate to disagree with you, but the radio traffic on Montoya's channel says she's not really racing Harvick that hard. His spotter, Tab Boyd, had told him the 07 knocked the 29 into you, and Montoya said, that's okay, because I had just waved him through when that happened anyway. So, tensions down, Montoya says, everything's cool, we're sticking to our game plan, Dave.
Interestingly, Alan, during that contact, you saw the 3rd car involved there was Harvick's teammate, the 07, and Kevin's comments right after he got into the 42 was, hey, tell Clint, man, he's got one coming. That wasn't good.
Well, I hear all that, but I still don't think Kevin Harvick likes Juan Pablo Montoya. I don't think Montoya likes him either, so...
16 car of Greg Biffle now becoming a factor. Biffle moving up on the back of the 29 for Harvick. That is for the 11th spot.
Biffle's got that top side working good, too. Kevin's car is starting to fall off a little bit, not running like it did early in the race, and Biffle's the other way around. He's found some rhythm, and he's got a lot of bite going on there. His car's handling good.
It's like Casey Kane finally got clear of the 26 car, Jamie McMurray. Now these other guys are stuck behind Jamie trying to fight by him to get up there and maybe race the 9 car.
Now McMurray, he's hoping for a caution flag right now, because if it falls now, he'll get the lucky dog and get back on this lead lap.
But that's why these guys don't just lay over when they do get lapped. They want to stay up there as far as they can, because as long as they're the first car one lap down, if the caution comes out, they'll get that what we call the free pass and get back on the lead lap.
Side by side a moment ago for third position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now gets the highest spot he's had all night long in third spot, starting back in 17th. Bobby Labonte in the 43 car back to fourth.
Right now, Jamie McMurray, who's the lucky dog, if it comes out right now, he is just hoping this caution's like I said earlier, because the next guy ahead of him that Casey Kane's going to run down is Robbie Gordon, and Robbie Gordon is driving his brains out too, and I don't think McMurray wants to mess with Gordon, because those two will wrestle pretty hard over this lucky dog spot.
Nobody's really been laying over for these leaders. They've been racing them very hard all night long. You see how this, even though we've got this 2 and 3 lanes of racing, it's still hard for these leaders to work by these lap cars.
3 wide going into turn 3, guys, and they made it. This multi-group banking at this track is just fantastic. It's holding them. They're not getting out of control, and it's working.
Glenn Boyer in the 07, that's for position. He is 8th. The 17 car of Kenseth is 9th.
And this 6 car of David Reagan made a pit stop about 10 laps ago, and he's got fresh tires on, and that's what you're seeing here. What these new tires are worth. These guys on new tires with the guys on old, against guys on old tires, they can really make some ground here. And you see that's what the 6 car is doing.
Yeah, the way this race is running right now, it really shows how hard this tire is. These guys are running the same laps from the beginning of the run to almost end of the runs. Only a couple tenths of a second difference. That's about it. And the goodie that you and I were talking about on the tire, where it's got some grip early for those first 15 laps, well, folks, that's gone right now. Now they're just running these consistent lap times, and when they're running the same speed, they just can't pass anybody.
It seems like those new tires are worth something for just a few laps, maybe 10 or 15 laps, and after that, they all kind of even out.
Jamie, what's going down on there with that 07 car? What's going on down there?
Clint Boyer, you're talking about on the move up. He started 15th. I talked to Gil Martin, his crew chief, earlier today. They had everything they could take out from underneath the hood out of the car. And I said, what happened? He said, last night we discovered we had an oil leak. He said, now normally we wouldn't be too stressed. We kind of let it slide. But because of the points chase right now, and they want to lock themselves in that top 12, he said, if it's dirty, we will fix it. We're so concerned right now about making positions up on the track and gaining points right now. That's all they can think about. So there's a lot on the line, but right now, obviously those changes and that oil leak fixing it today paid off.
Brad, you can add as well?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Clint yesterday, and, you know, as time goes on, each week that goes by and he does not get that win, the pressure, you can just see it mounting on him. He feels like he's let a couple slip away this year, particularly at Infineon. He feels like he should have gotten a win. So I saw it yesterday when we were talking in his face that it's just draining out of him. The pressure is on him to run up front and to get that win, because he's been in the top 5 in the percentage of laps led this season, and he doesn't have much to show for it.
Glenn Boyer 3 times here at Bristol, Tennessee. His best finish came at 8th back in the spring of this year. He was 38th in this race a year ago, and we got a car sideways. Lots of flames underneath the hood of the 11 car.
Slide down. It's on fire. Hop out.
Looks like that engine finally let go in the 11 car.
You know, if he lost a cylinder,
Like the fire has gone out.
if he lost a cylinder, Andy, and dropped the valve through the piston, that would cause the fire, I would think. So we'll look at that later on. I think we got an animation that can show that.
The 11 car of Denny Hamlin had been running at the end of the last 53 consecutive races, and that will come to an end tonight as it goes up in just an array of smoke and flames in the 11 car. That he had changed the engine just prior to the race and had to go to the rear of the pack in 40-30. He'd driven it all the way to 5th and then began to slow down.
Yeah, and I tell you, everybody behind him did a good job holding on to it, because that thing was dumping smoke and oil, and whether the track was slick or not, they couldn't see behind him at all getting through the corner, but they all made it through pretty clean.
I guess this answers the question whether it was electrical or not.
Yeah, it wasn't electrical.
I don't believe it was. That was definitely inside the engine.
When they let go at Bristol, it happens in a big way.
it looks like happened here is probably they broke a valve spring, and maybe after that, then the other parts start failing. Tim Brewer can tell us a whole lot more about that in our Dish Tech Center. Tim?
Thanks, Andy. What we're anticipating right here, folks, is the valve spring possibly broke in this area. Maybe over-revved it or whatever. But what we're going to show you right here is what's going to happen next. When the valve comes down after the spring broke, it's going to get caught. It's not going to set back down on the seat properly. Therefore, it's going to pop the head off the valve eventually. And when it does that, total devastation for the engine. It's going to be a hole in the piston, and that's where you've seen all the smoke and all the fire come out from under the hood.
Yeah, that just goes, when that head of that valve goes in there, it just wreaks havoc inside that engine, destroys it. Pit road is open. The leaders are coming down pit road on the backstretch.
30 miles an hour, under caution for the second time. They pitted on lap 127 in the first caution flag of the night. Jamie.
Bobby Labonte been silent on the radio since the last stop. He said he's tight in the middle off. They're going to go up 2 rounds on that track bar, try to free him up a bit, make an air pressure adjustment, and he's out. Alan?
Junior continuing to describe his car as neutral. That's good in handling terms. A 4-tire change and nothing else for the 8 car.
24 car getting tires changed on the right and left side. Major adjustment in the chassis there, Andy.
Yeah, we see these guys screwing those jack screws around there, trying to change the handling characteristics of this 24. So Jeff's calling for something he wants in the car.
Jeff Gordon down and away. We heard 2 rounds on the track bar up on the 43 car. What are they trying to do for Bobby Labonte? They're making a lot of adjustments on these guys. Bobby Labonte, one of the guys like Jeff Gordon, who was also trying to get his car dialed in.
They raise that track bar up. What they're trying to do is free the car up and may have a little more push than he wants. So they just raise the track bar up, makes the car a little freer, makes the front wheels turn a little better.
Second caution flag today coming out on lap 210 when an engine erupts for Denny Hamlin. Back with the green in a moment.
Head to the side, seat back low. When you see me riding with him in my Chevy, ride slow. I'm in my Chevy, ride slow.
Nice. I'll trade you.
Chevy Impala S, an American.
We have after.
Yeah, we have something else. But